Good Fast on Monday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Our guy, Carey Davis, still off for another day. Jamie Rivers will make his way to the studio in about an hour or so. So Jamie will be here for the final 3 hours of the show. Welcome in. Everybody had a great weekend. Happy President's Day to everybody. If you're off with the kids, I feel for you. Because the snow's supposed to be coming here, Marsh.
What?
So we might be getting more snow days here. Let's hope not.
Serious,
If you're
man.
a parent, let's hope not. If you're a kid, I get it. You're fired up.
I was told
days.
though that it was supposed to be bad this past week, but it was fine.
Let's hope. Knock on wood.
We're knocking on. We don't have any wood around here.
Well, we do. A couple of pieces at least. Air Covered Service text line 314-399-9646. If you want to reach us there, you can. If you want to leave us a Scott Lee Heating Company mic drop, you can do so on the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center 101 ESPN app. Though the weekend was highlighted from a sports standpoint by one thing locally here with Nolan Arenado reporting to spring training. We will get to that and potential fallout potentially. You can also, arguably, from a national standpoint, Team USA knocking off Team Canada in the Four Nations tournament. Highly anticipated matchup. Marsh, you and I had talked about it on Friday when you and I did the show together, how excited we both were to watch Team USA play against Team Canada. And right from the get-go, it did not disappoint. 3 fights right away. Our guy Matthew Tkachuk squaring off first, followed by his brother Brady Tkachuk, who was rooting Matthew on, only to go ahead and take on, I think it was Matthew's teammate, right? Wasn't it Sam Bennett, that second
Sam
fight?
Sam Bennett, yep.
So Sam Bennett gets a beating. And then Colton Parayko.
Yeah, what?
Colton Parayko manhandling Miller in that third matchup. But what a way to jumpstart that game. There's so much intensity. There's so much energy. There's so much angst leading into that game because, of course, the home crowd at the Bell Center booing the national anthem. And they did so for Team USA's first matchup against Finland. But you had all of this angst, and it gets let out right away. And it's funny because you've got the NFL Pro Bowl, which has turned into a flag football game.
Yep.
And you've got the NBA trying to do different things, changing up the format, but yet you're still not playing much defense in said format. And you've got Major League Baseball. Do we make it count? Do we not? And then you've got hockey, where the players are so amped up to fight for their country. You've got casual sports fans, not even casual hockey fans, casual sports fans tuning in. The NHL nailed it with this Four Nations tournament. I don't know if they're going to continue to do it, if they're just going to use it as something like, hey, every 3 or 4 years we'll do it. Either way, this has been a rousing success. And I love that Binnington was fine. He wasn't the reason why they lost, Team Canada.
Unless you're a Canadian.
Unless you're Canadian, you blame him, of course.
Of course.
First goal soft, second one, turnover.
A laser beam.
Bad line change, great goal. And then the third one was an empty netter. But I love the fact that Team USA, we took it to them. We win on their home ice. And Binnington wasn't he shouldn't have been the major storyline. Because I don't want Binnington to be, a casualty of all this, but it is what it is. I love the fact that Team USA won up there again, and now we've got the final to look forward to because Canada's up on Finland 4-0 now.
Yeah, I thought that first period was one of my favorite first periods to watch in hockey since Game 7 of the 2019 Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Just for me personally.
From an exciting standpoint.
In the Cup game, you had all of the Binnington saves in that first period that somehow kept the team in, and then of course they go down and score 2 goals in that first. So for me, that was exciting, but this was just on a whole nother level. So there's the casual hockey fan. Typically, when they think about hockey, they think about fights, and so you got that, but you also got goal scoring. I thought Canada scoring the first goal was that was huge to get that building going, even though the fans were already in it because of the fights and whatnot. But then the response from Gensel and the physicality in that game was off the chart. McDavid got blown up.
That was awesome.
Brady Tkachuk blew up Drew Doughty. Like, the entire game, like, that was hockey, man. That was so physical. It was a great game. I thought the United States defense was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, they clogged up the middle. We always talk about, big bodies and not giving teams opportunities in high danger chances. Like, I just thought the game was incredible. Like, it's exactly what hockey needed right now.
Yeah.
It was great. And we're probably, unless some crazy stuff happens here in this Canada-Finland game, we're going to get the rematch on Thursday.
That's going to be my question, and I'm going to pose it to you, and I'd love to hear what our listeners think as well, and we'll get Jamie's thoughts on this too. I was thinking about this, Marsh. So Team USA wins that game in Canada over the weekend, and it was that victory for us, Team USA, ended Canada's 17-game winning streak in best-on-best competition. Marked the first win for U.S. in 15 years over Canada.
Yeah, and that was I believe the 2010 Winter Olympics.
Yes,
when they won in the round robin, and then unfortunately lost in the final. That's when Sidney Crosby scored in overtime.
Does this? Do you need the win on Thursday in the finale, the final?
100%.
In order to, feel like the ice is tilted. Or did that do it on Saturday?
Nah, you gotta win. You gotta win.
I agree.
Yeah, that's all that matters, right? Like, you have to win the championship. Yeah, we went in and beat them in their home nation. It would stink if they came into Boston and won the more important game. It really would.
Means nothing without Thursday.
But if they do win, like, that's huge because you look at we talk about the World Juniors and in that when that comes around, and like, the United States have had success with that as well. So, even a couple of years ago, the United States knocking off Canada in the world. I remember watching that game and just feeling at that time like, oh man, I feel like things are kind of switching here. Like, there's a lot of really good United States-born players that are entering into the NHL now. And we're starting to see that right now. And leading the way are two dudes from St. Louis.
I know. Isn't that remarkable? And two guys that are so the entire family is easy to root for. But if you really enjoy hockey and you enjoy the way that the game is quote unquote supposed to be played, and I'm not saying eliminate the skill, you had everything on Saturday. You had the skill on display with Connor McDavid and some of the players that fly around the ice for Canada, and we have our own skill as well. But if you appreciate all that hockey offers, how do you not love the Tkachuk brothers?
It's awesome.
How do you not love this Team USA team and wanting to just root them on and make sure you don't miss the game on Thursday night? They have all of the elements of what American hockey has turned into.
Well, and it's one thing to go around and, bully the other team and, lay guys out, which is great, right?
Yeah.
But they're also putting the puck in the back of the net. They're being offensive. It's just fun to watch, man. Like, it's just so fun to watch. And I thought this came at the perfect time for the NHL because the Olympics are next year. Same time. We get to see this all again, but except for we get to see all the teams.
Yeah.
And maybe the physicality isn't there. Maybe it's a little bit different because you play on a different ice. You play on an Olympic sheet. Things could be different. But I thought this came at a perfect time, especially with where the NBA is right now.
Yeah.
In terms of popularity with, I'd say, I guess, the casuals. It's just not there. And I thought this was a perfect week and/or, / weekend for the NHL to capture all the viewers and the game. Like, it also, like, not to be political, but there's a lot of political things that are surrounding this game, right? It's hard to avoid.
That's why are our neighbors to the north booing the
100%
the national anthem? I mean, it's political. It's politically charged.
And like, this is the first time that sort of played out in a best on best since I guess it wasn't best on best, but the 1980 Miracle on Ice game. Like, that was more than a hockey game at the time. Not saying that this game compares to that one by any means, but it's kind of, it's in the same breath from that perspective.
You know what and I promise you, I'm not taking any shots here, but we can't, and when I say we, I mean Americans. We, as in American sports, we can't always showcase our best. Mm-hmm. Nobody's playing us in football. We do not have a U.S. NFL or a U.S. football team that is going to take on the other nations.
What are we going to take on Kyle Juszczyk and the Australians?
Right. Like we don't
the rugby team?
It's not like there is a World Football Championship like there is for the World Cup or the Olympics and other sports. If so, we would absolutely dominate.
By the way, Kyle Juszczyk's from Ohio. I don't know why I thought he was from Australia. Who's from Australia that's a fullback?
I don't know.
I must have made that up.
An Australian fullback?
I thought this entire time he's from Australia. He's from Ohio.
I was just assuming that you knew what you're talking about.
I just staltered it.
I just went through. Hey,
sure,
Ohio, very close to Australia. No, but it makes me. This whole thing makes me think of the U.S. World Club, the World Cup, the U.S. soccer team, and how we're often viewed as just they'll never figure it out. They'll never have a team that figures it out. And for the longest time in hockey, it's like, hey, Canadian sport, obviously. I don't think anything changes there, but we can really flex. Mm-hmm. I love that we can flex. Waterboy, Ohio's the new Australia.
Nathan Walker, Ohio. Ohio native.
Basically same state, same country. But I wish, when I'm watching this, I just wish we could figure it out from a soccer standpoint, because this is proving that it goes beyond sports.
Well, you get it with baseball, though.
You do. You get it with baseball.
And that was great. That was great.
Yeah. But I don't think, I'm not, regular listeners know I'm not the biggest soccer fan. Mm-hmm. If I knew we had a team that could compete and surprise and really flex, I'd be the biggest damn soccer fan during that time.
And there's a lot of United States players that play overseas in these big leagues, too. So you thought, at least in the last World Cup, it would come together a little bit. Maybe it's the coach,
Well, for whatever reason, this makes me think of, like, I would love the opportunity for us to flex in other sports, in all of our sports as well. I know we could do it in basketball. I know we could do it in baseball at times. Football, nobody's going to touch us. But when it comes to soccer, it would be awesome too if we had a team in which the thing that's special, in my opinion, about this U.S. hockey team, Marsh, is it's got what I feel as though embodies what American hockey would be, and is. I wish we had that in soccer, where it's like, yeah, look, we have been so far behind forever, but this is the way we play in America, and we have success with it. I wish that would transfer over at some point, and maybe it will.
Either way, they got to win on Thursday. Otherwise, we got to wait a year.
Yep, you're right. The Lounge STL says the U17 team has won 22-0, 7-0, and 2-0 in their matches. Excellent. Great. Hopefully in a World Cup, we could see that transfer over. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie will join us in less than an hour. It's Marsh and I for right now, though. Appreciate you tuned in. So Nolan Arenado, we mentioned this. There's two big storylines over the weekend. One nationally with USA beating Canada, and we will get Jamie's thoughts on that as well. The local story, of course, is that Nolan Arenado reported to spring training, and he was a total pro. He said all the right things. We'll share some of the quotes that Katie Wu had in her Athletic article. But I also want to ask the question, so what did we learn? Now that Arenado is in camp, what did we learn about all of this entire situation? Did we learn anything that we can move forward with? That's next on 101 ESPN.
wish the direction was all in, of course, but is this what's probably best for the Cardinals? Probably. I think they do need to reshape some things here and do some things, but at the end of the day, I'm a ball player. I'm a Cardinal until I'm told I'm not. You know what I mean? And that's all there is to it. And I got a lot of work to do. I got to be a better ball player, and that's what I'm focused on.
So is Nolan Arenado over the weekend. Nolan Arenado over the weekend as he reports to spring training. And Marshy said all the right things. Here's some key quotes. Says, I'm ready to work. It's not awkward for my teammates and my coaches. And to be honest with you, it's not really awkward with the front office. They have a job to do, and I have a job to do. Something that we thought, going back to last week, he would say. He knows this is about baseball. He understands that the front office was going to attempt to trade him, did have a deal in place, and he flexed. He said, you know what? No, I'm not going to Houston. He has every right to do so. And now that both sides could not, well, now that the front office couldn't figure another deal out for Arenado, he's going to be a Cardinal. So everything, while maybe a little, I don't know, he says it's not awkward. Maybe there's a little bit of awkwardness, maybe a little bit of tense feelings early on. I think that's going to move quickly. But he says, I have a family now. And I thought this was key. I have a family now. He's got a 2-year-old daughter with his wife. To be willing to pick up my family and move them, it has to be something that's worth it. That's kind of why the list was fairly small. And I don't see myself really changing that list ever because, like I said, I have a family now, and I don't feel like moving them everywhere just to move them. Let's see. And I don't feel like moving them everywhere just to move them everywhere. So basically, we're not just going to make a move to make a move. It has to make sense. This is also something we discussed. I think we as fans tend to think that every single player just wants to play for a contender, period, end of story. And there's nothing else to consider. There's nothing else to think about. One of the things that I think we have learned once again, or reaffirmed, is that these players consider everything, including family. Arenado isn't just going to uproot his family.
Right.
If everybody's happy here, they have built a life in St. Louis, it's a little tough to just say, yeah, I'll go to Houston. We may have a better chance to win. There's going to be considerations that are given. Certain players, like Myles Garrett right now. I'm like, he's done with Cleveland. He don't want to be in Cleveland forever. He's ready to move on. Every person is different. So I think the conversation of, he just wants to be in St. Louis. Why? Because he's going to lose? It's not as simple as that when you have a family.
Right. And two, I think the age of players determines where their mindset is. If you're a younger player and you're a free agent, maybe you do want to go to a competitor because you're at that point in your life where you can uproot wherever, even if you do have a family, a young family, whatever, you can do that.
Yeah.
But I said it last week, this is a great place to raise a family. That's why a lot of former players stay here. Now, would it make sense for him to go chase a championship, uproot his family to go chase a championship? That might not happen.
Right.
Maybe for him that there's more than just winning a championship.
And I think what he's saying is he'll do it for the right situation.
Right.
I'm sure if the Dodgers wanted him.
Well, he's from California.
Exactly. The Cardinals and Dodgers made a deal. That'd be a little different. But I think at the time we all viewed it, why wouldn't he want to go to Houston? Houston's got a better chance to win a championship. Doesn't he know that? Well, yeah, I'm sure he does, but that's not the only consideration. He also said last year was not what I want. Cardinals fans know me as, so I see this as an opportunity to change that. Did I sit here in the offseason and think I wasn't coming back? No. I knew there was always a chance of me coming back, so I'm prepared to be here. The one thing about this place, I'm very comfortable. I know it. That's going to help me get ready for the season, and I'm in the right place. I feel ready. I have a lot to prove. And then he was asked about, would you reconsider if a deal comes up at the deadline? That's Mozeliak's job. My job is to get ready. I'm really focused on being a better baseball player than I was last year. If I'm a better ball player, if I'm me, I think I make any team better, to be quite honest with you. If I'm here, I'm going to give everything I got, and I can make this team better for sure. He's a pro.
Yeah, it would be interesting if he does have a really good season and then the deadline comes and maybe there's not a team out there that is the right situation because he still has a no-trade clause.
Right.
What if he stays here? if he's having
this is not the worst.
Right.
This is not the worst case scenario.
If he plays better and he makes this team better, then this team will ultimately be in a better situation down the stretch.
This is, I really want to repeat this because I think it's important. Him being a Cardinal is not the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. Does it complicate things from a playing time standpoint? Sure. But they can figure that out. Mm-hmm. It's going to cost somebody, and we think it's going to be Nolan Gorman. It might not be. It might be Siani and Scott. Mm-hmm. They may ultimately decide that their outfield is Donovan, Nootbaar, and Walker. And we'll get into some comments Mo made about, well, we don't know who the center fielder and right fielder are. We'll save those. We'll table those for a second. But that could be the outfield, which would do what? It would open up a spot at second for Gorman to play there. So I don't think we should make assumptions based on, well, now Gorman won't get a full-time opportunity. We'll see. This is not, him being a Cardinal is not the worst-case scenario. The worst-case scenario is him being a Cardinal and he stinks.
Yeah.
That's the worst-case scenario. You've got 3 years left on this deal. If he plays incredibly well and somebody offers a more significant package for him at the deadline than they did in the offseason, Cardinals win. Mm-hmm. If Arenado plays well and he wants to stay in St. Louis, whether he says he won't waive a no-trade, his no-trade clause to go someplace, or he just says flat out, look, I want to be here, the Cardinals benefit. This is not the worst-case scenario. Him declining in production, that's the worst-case scenario, because then you're stuck with a contract that is, quite frankly, immovable for the next 3 years.
Well, he could also have the mindset of, okay, this team basically is the same team as last year, minus a few players. Mm-hmm. But they won 83 games. If he plays better, which he thinks that he will, maybe you win 5 to 10 more games.
Right.
And then you're in the playoffs.
Yep.
And then you have a chance.
Ellipsis 150 says, what about Thomas Saggese? Thomas Saggese might be one of those players that's also impacted here. There is a ripple down effect. However, I will say this. Thomas Saggese wouldn't be playing third, as we know. Now, you could play Gorman at third and Saggese at second base. So I would understand why that might have a trickle-down effect. But if it's not Saggese, then, again, we're going back to the two center fielders, Siani and Scott. One of these young guys will be impacted. I'm not overlooking that. But somebody's always bound to get hurt, too. I hate to say it.
Well, that means Victor Scott, if let's say that things shake out in the way that doesn't go his way, he might not even be on the roster. He could be in Memphis.
Right.
Like, you're not going to keep Victor Scott up here if he's not playing center field.
Correct. Yep.
What is he going to do? Steal a few bases? Which would be awesome, but...
Do we learn anything else from this entire situation? Because I don't think the Cardinals necessarily screwed this up. There's some that are like, oh, the Cardinals botched this again. They didn't trade him. I think the only mistake they made was when Mo said this is priority 1, 2, and 3, or however, I'm paraphrasing what he said at the winter warm-up. That's the only mistake that was made. They had a deal in place. And that deal came with them, not having to pay the full freight.
Right. He
nixed the deal. So it's hardly a mistake on their part. He also had a small, as we know, and we talked about with the family aspect of it, he also had a fairly small group of teams a list of teams that he was willing to go to. Mm-hmm. Dodgers weren't interested. The Yankees weren't really interested. The Red Sox were that last team. And the Red Sox signed Alex Bregman. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily think there was mistakes made. I do think Mo probably, I don't know if he regrets this or not, but if I were him, I would, saying anything at the winter warm-up about how this is a high priority. With the idea being that he could still be here and creating kind of this awkward tension early on.
I guess I learned that, you should probably get rid of the player before you come out and say that you're going with a youth movement. Because now you've added more question marks, at least in my mind. You've added more question marks heading into 2025 than I think I had at the end of 2024. And I had a lot of question marks about this team. Sure. And rightfully so. But now, when you say, oh, we're going to play all the young guys, and all of a sudden that's not really the case to a certain degree, I'm just sitting here like, well, what is this season going to look like? How many at-bats are certain players going to get? Is that going to be enough? Is this ultimately going to push this timeline further into the future where like this year ends up, instead of being like a development year for some players, maybe it's just kind of like a stagnant year for them, and all of a sudden we got to wait another year because they didn't get 500 at-bats, and it's like, come on, man, we can't keep pushing this down the road because we've been hearing the same things for like 5 to 10 years now.
That would be that would be incredibly frustrating.
And honestly, it wouldn't shock me if at the end of the year we're sitting here having the same questions.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. But it also, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this team was better than we thought, too.
Sure. A lot of confusion.
A lot of confusion.
All right, it's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter, Carey Davis is off until tomorrow. Jamie's making his way in. He'll be here hopefully within the next half hour or so. The NBA was criticized by their own players for the new All-Star changes. They did it differently this year. They went with a new format for the All-Star Game festivities. Overall, I think the changes were fine. But again, some of the players were critical of it. And as I was reading through some of the fallout and the criticism, Marsh, I thought to myself, is this league just in a lose-lose situation, especially after what the NHL just did? That's next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. In the Four Nations face-off over the weekend, Team USA took down Team Canada by a final score of 3-1. The United States will be back in action tonight, taking on Sweden, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Right now, Canada is taking on Finland. Jordan Binnington has stopped 20 of 21 as Team Canada leads late in the third period by a score of 4-1. We'll have the final for you, which looks like it'll be Canada going up against the United States on Thursday. Pregame starts at 6 for that one. Puck drop is at 7. This weekend, the NBA All-Star Game took place along with the Rising Stars and all of the Skills Challenge. It's getting criticized right now. We're going to touch on that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
So as Marsh just noted in our Sports Center update, the NBA All-Star Game was over the weekend, and you may or may not have watched, but they changed formats this year. They held it at Chase Center, and they introduced a revamped format aimed at enticing or enhancing kind of the competitive nature of it, while also still being entertaining, or still being entertaining, I should say. Instead of doing the traditional East versus West matchup, the event featured a 4-team single elimination tournament. 3 teams were drafted from a pool of 24 All-Stars by NBA analysts. It was Shaq, Charles Barkley, and Kenny Smith. And then the 4th team comprised the winners of the Rising Stars Challenge, which was managed by Candace Parker. Each game was played to a target score of 40 points. Championship game, Shaq's OGs, led by Steph Curry, defeated Chuck's Global Stars with a final 41-25. Curry won the outstanding performance on his home court and earned the All-Star MVP. Okay, cool. Overall, I like the format change. I always enjoy having like kind of a tournament style. I think that's great. The weekend was also highlighted by guys like Kevin Hart going through, when they had the game changes and they had stoppages. Mm-hmm. Kevin Hart was there to kind of entertain the crowd and also, entertain people that are watching. The criticisms, though, I think are interesting. So Trae Young of the Hawks said, to be honest, I didn't like it at all. And he was a member of Chuck's Global Stars. I didn't like the breaks. The games were so short. Obviously, we can score, so they're trying to extend the game, extend TV time with the breaks and things like that. And I want you to remember that because I'm going to circle back to it.
And I have a breakdown as well.
Great. Thunder point guard SGA said, I would rather play without breaks, but I had fun. Nonetheless, I feel like it was a little bit more towards the competitive side tonight, which is a good feeling, a step in the right direction, because these games weren't competitive at all in the past. Mm-hmm. I guess it's up to the guys that handle all that stuff to figure out what's next and how it can keep making it more and more interesting. Hopefully, we'll get there one day. Draymond Green, do you want to go over the stoppages, the time stoppages?
Yeah.
Before I get to Green?
So this was, I believe, on Reddit. Some Reddit user broke this down. Intro with ads, 30 minutes. Pre-game talk, 10 minutes. Game 1, Kenny versus Chuck's team, 12 minutes long. Mr. Beast Challenge, which was actually probably the coolest part of the entire night.
And he's a social media.
He's a social media guy. I don't really watch Mr. Beast, but that random fan played Damian Lillard in the logo, shoot from the logo,
right.
Whatever contest, won $100,000, hit a buzzer beater. It was pretty cool, actually. That was 5 minutes. Game 2, Shaq versus the Rising Stars team, 16 minutes. Music performance by, I believe, LiAngelo Ball, who did not make it in the NBA. Uh-huh. 6 minutes. Inside the NBA tribute, 9 minutes, which was pretty cool. Game 3, Chuck versus Shaq's team, 14 minutes. Post-game, 6 minutes. Analyst / game intros / segments in total, 22 minutes, ads in total, 80 minutes. There was 42 minutes of actual basketball being played in the 3-hour All-Star game.
So not great. Then Draymond Green said, I had to work so hard to play on Sunday night at All-Star weekends, Green said on the TNT broadcast. And because ratings are down, because the game's bad, we're bringing in rising stars. I've never played in the Rising Stars game. My first 2 years, I didn't touch that game. And these guys get to touch the All-Star floor on Sunday night. So his criticism was more, hey, I had to fight my ass off to get to that All-Star game. It meant something at some point. Now you're just handing these opportunities from an entertainment standpoint. So here's my question. Is the league basically in a lose-lose situation? Because all those stoppages are for two things. Trying to bring different elements to entertain not only the crowd but viewers. And two, you got to pay for all this, i.e. advertisements. So you're trying to make the game more competitive because the players themselves have not been competitive. It is basically what the NFL has done now, which is a flag football game, and it's just for fun because players don't want to get hurt and all that, which I get.
It's a different game. I understand it with the NFL.
Yes. More physicality and all that.
Yeah.
But NBA All-Star games, like back in the day, guys still hated each other. It was still competitive. It was still fiery and all that. You don't that no longer exists. The 90s basketball, which I grew up with, no longer exists. So they're trying to make the game more competitive. They're trying to make sure that there is some sort of entertainment value to it. And oh, by the way, they got to pay advertisers and things like that. One way to do that is to introduce your young players, which are your future of the league. I understand Draymond Green's point in all this, though. I understand.
100%.
So from a player standpoint, you're ticked off. You don't like the stoppages, all that. But what do? If you're the NBA, you're kind of in a lose-lose situation.
I saw something on the internet that I found to be interesting. I don't think these players would ever do this, but it was basically you bring your own money and put it in a player pot, and if you lose, you're losing money out of your own pocket.
And how many players? It's an interesting idea.
They'll never do that.
They'll never do it.
Never do it.
Right.
My thing with this, and I'll even go back to like the skills competition, like Mac McClung wins the dunk contest. The dunk contest used to be the biggest thing at the NBA All-Star weekend.
Right.
You know, when you were growing up, it was like
it was those players.
The thing.
Right.
And now we have a guy who has played 5 NBA games. He's not an All-Star.
Yeah.
He's in the dunk competition?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make sense. Why are the players who actually play in the league competing in these events? And then when they're doing the skills competition, you have two of the guys. It was Chris Paul and the fella from the Spurs, the new guy. Wemby.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Who are like cheating. They're not even doing it. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Right.
It's embarrassing.
It is kind of turned the NBA All-Star game. And again, I don't know how. And by the way, Finland just scored 2 quick goals, but it's unlikely to matter. There's 40 seconds remaining, and Canada's still up 5-3. So for all intents and purposes here, it looks like we're going to get Team Canada versus Team USA again in the final, which is on Thursday.
3 goals? That's way too many, Anthony, that Jordan Bennington has given up. 2 of them
they'll talk about it. They'll talk about it. This game's been over since the second period, but they'll find a way to blame Bennington for this. But I think what the NBA has become, these All-Star games stuff has become, is that it's just something for the players. The players can kind of joke around. They get a weekend. They're kind of having fun. But I mean, I'm seeing some of the Snake Pit talk about it. One person said, "I tuned in. I turned it off. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't entertaining." I think the NBA is in a hell of its own making. And ironically, Steph Curry won the MVP last night.
And he wasn't even the best player on his team.
If you go back, the 3-point surge in the NBA kind of started when
Steph Curry came into the league.
And now there's less physicality in the game, which means there's less competitiveness, I think, because you could just kind of shoot the tray and not play defense. The NBA is in a hell of its own making now. And I don't really know what they can do about it, especially, congratulations to Team Canada. They advanced to the championship game to face us. Hopefully an ass-kicking is upcoming. But the the NBA is in hell of its own making. I don't know what you do about it because the game has changed, which means your All-Star game is going to be changed. And as much different elements as the everybody had over the weekend, the NBA had over the weekend, it pales in comparison to what we're seeing in the NHL.
Well, it's the players, right? Like it's the players. That's what it comes down to. You have LeBron James who just shows up and then, I won't say moments before the All-Star game, but the same day, I can't play.
Right.
I can't play. Well, dude, you should have said something before. Maybe you could have got somebody else in there.
Yep.
Like, you are the face of the league. You're setting the precedent for all this stuff.
Right.
If you're just going to show up in your street clothes and not even, take a picture with your jersey on with the rest of your team, you're going to wear your street clothes. Like, dude, what are we doing, man? Like,
if you don't care, why should I care?
Exactly. To me, I think right now the NBA itself is not up to standard. So obviously the All-Star game is not going to be.
Exactly.
Like, it is what it is. Like, it's not fun to watch. It's not.
I think Jamie just got here, but we'll give him, a couple minutes here. We'll give him a segment to get his bearings, and then eventually we'll talk about what happened over the weekend on Saturday night and look ahead to Thursday as, again, Canada just beat Finland 5-3. So we will see. And Team USA plays tonight against Sweden. It's not going to matter. But we'll talk to him about the championship game potentially on Thursday and everything that happened over the weekend. But real quick segment about Chaim Bloom and whether or not we're about to see history repeat itself, unfortunately, with the Cardinals, because there's a lot of parallels to when he first took over with the Red Sox. I'll explain next on 101 ESPN. I got my guy Stewie on the line right now from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. He is local and he loves helping out his clients. And Stewie, hope you had a great weekend. Let's talk a little bit about interest rates. How can our listeners take advantage right now?
Well, you got two different issues. You got interest rates and saving money. Now, if you know your mortgage, all the beginning payments are interest, all the end payments are principal, so it's not evenly divided. We just took an ESPN listener from a 30-year to a 20-year, and his payment went down $20 a month. All that interest saved add up to $186,000. So sometimes it's about cash flow, and sometimes it's just about saving the big bucks. $186,000, 8 years off the loan. He's way ahead of the game. He's going to retire before he wants to. He says to me that, and he's not going to have a mortgage payment in about 15, 20 years.
How's that sound to you? Because if it sounds great, because I know it sounds great to me, give Stewie a call. You can even text him if you want, because he hands out his personal cell phone number, 314-324-4440. Again, 314-324-4440. Call him, text him day, night. Don't be in a situation like, he can't help me. My situation is it's too bad. He loves challenges. Stewie loves them. So give him a call, shoot him a text, ask him about the rates. If you want to consolidate debt, great. Call him. If you need cash out for, home improvements or whatever, call him or text him. But do it now. Take advantage. He's ready. He's ready for your phone call. And if you didn't get that number, you can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a great day.
NMLS number 226715.
with Andrew Marsh. Excuse me. I get choked up talking about this. It's always tough, you know? Let me gather myself.
The parallels are incredible.
Are just between Chaim Bloom now and when he took over Boston. Again, it gets me emotional. Mm-hmm. With Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie will be here shortly. Marsh, I was looking back at where the Red Sox were when Bloom took over for them. So, quick history lesson with Bloom. He was with Tampa Bay. Great history of scouting, drafting with Tampa and their front office. They've always been the kind of at the forefront of drafting and developing players, and they have to be because they don't have a very big budget when it comes to their big league team. So when Bloom went to Boston, the Red Sox immediately wanted to slash payroll. So he was in charge of doing a couple of things. One, again, getting under the luxury tax. So instead of coming in and being the president of the Boston Red Sox and having kind of a big checkbook and being able to do both, draft well and also supplement that with big league free agents, instead, Bloom stepped right into a situation where you're now the Rays again, yet you're almost going backwards because the farm system was bad. Farm system in Boston, when Bloom took over, were bottom 10. It was a bottom 10 farm system. So he takes over, and immediately they say, hey, slash payroll now. So he does. One of those moves, of course, where it was trading Mookie Betts in one of the most lopsided deals that you'll find. Mookie Betts goes to the Dodgers. The Red Sox got Alex Verdugo, who eventually was traded to the Yankees, of all teams. And Boston really doesn't have much to show for it. So instead of a ground-breaking trade where you could set yourself up for years on end, Bloom puts together a horrible trade, and there's still a lot of question of whether or not he was allowed to have enough time to make the deal, or if ownership just said, hey, look, it doesn't matter, just trade the guy because we're not going to be able to sign him long term, or we can, but we don't want to, blah, blah, blah. But here's where the parallels are. One, you are stepping into a situation where the Cardinals are trying to not get under the luxury tax, but slash payroll. But one of the other parallels that I found interesting, Marsh, was that at the time, there was a lot of Red Sox fans griping about how the Red Sox didn't look like the Red Sox anymore. They had lost their way when it came to playing Boston Red Sox baseball. When Bloom took over, he did repair the farm system and went from bottom 10 to top 10, so that's good. But the big league team was really comprised of try-hard guys, not a lot of character. And when I say character, I mean like personality, like big booming personalities. But just kind of worker bee types.
Vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream, not a lot of excitement. The product wasn't exciting, and it no longer looked like the product that the fans recognized. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you.
A little bit.
Okay. My point in all this is that the DeWitts have hired and will put a guy in place and ask him to do virtually the same thing, the same job that he didn't succeed in Boston. And I'm not saying this is all on Bloom. What I'm saying is there's a lot of parallels between ownership for Boston at that time and ownership now with the Cardinals, where the priority isn't necessarily putting together the absolute best product that, one, wins baseball games, and two, is exciting for your fan base.
Did he get enough runway in Boston to essentially see out his plan? Or are we seeing some of the players that maybe he would have ushered in? Are we seeing some of the success right now for Boston?
Yes and no. He had 4 years. The big league product never looked good. I mean, we're talking about dead last in the AL East several times. And that is something that Bloom, it's on him. As far as having the runway to see some of these other like young players and the farm system come about and usher in a new brand of Boston Red Sox baseball. No, he probably didn't get that time.
So at the big league level, though, is that more on him or is it on ownership?
It's both. It starts with ownership, which is my overall point here. Are the Cardinals, is the Cardinals front office going to allow him to see this out, to see this through, to be more than he was asked to be in Boston, which is just keep payroll low and revamp our farm system. And once that happens, we're going to get rid of you. Or is he allowed to, let me do my thing with the drafts, let me repair this farm system, and then let me also see it through by spending some money down the road to supplement the big league talent with these young guys coming up.
I do think they'll give him the runway. Like, this organization, for the most part, does a pretty good job at giving
Well, yeah. I mean, Mo
people their time.
Sure.
People would argue maybe that wasn't the case with Mike Schilt at the manager,
right?
As a manager, but Mo. I mean, the guy's been here for how many years now?
Yeah, like
a long time.
9 decades. It feels
almost my entire life. It seems like. Mm-hmm. So, I think he will get the runway. I really do. The question is, will he succeed in that? I think we all hope that he will, but if it does look like what it looked like in Boston for those 4 years,
yeah,
it's going to be tough.
The guy can draft. Will he get the help, the aid, to supplement the big league roster? That's the big question. We won't find that out this year, obviously.
Did Mo?
To some extent, no. To some extent, no. He wasn't wise with his money. Mm-hmm. But no, it wasn't anywhere close to an unlimited budget. That's for sure. Our guy Jamie Rivers is here. We're going to talk to him about the Four Nations tournament, what we saw on Saturday, what we could see on Thursday. Back to the Four Nations conversation with our guy Jamie, fresh off vacation. Next on 101 ESPN.
Face-off matchup is underway, and the gloves are off. Matthew Tkachuk and Brandon Hagel. Hagel from Tampa Bay, Tkachuk from Florida. Well, Brady's out there, and Sam Bennett, who's been thrust into their lineup tonight, he did not play against Sweden, is taking the face-off. He's clearly in there to help match the United States physicality. Brings a lot of grit, a lot of sandpaper. This was set. And here they come, Ray, you're right.
Right before the first Tkachuk fight, this was set up. Here you go.
Charlie McAvoy put one on net. Now we're 9 seconds in. We had a fight 2 seconds in, another one 1 second later. Now in the center of the action, it's Colton Parayko and JT Miller.
Parayko's got a big size advantage. Miller's a tough dude, and this is like 1996.
In a highly charged atmosphere at Montreal's Bell Center, Team USA defeats Canada 3-1 in the Four Nations Face-Off tournament. That was on Saturday. Victory secured a spot for the U.S. in the championship game, which will be held on Thursday. And we now know, with Canada's victory today over Finland, that it will be Canada again versus Team USA. Jamie Rivers back off vacation from Mexico and the road as he was traveling a little bit. But Jamie's back. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you guys, too. I mean, hearing those highlights, I mean, all I could think of after was one of those guys standing at center ice with the "Are you not entertained?"
Boomy now.
Which is kind of what Brady did after.
Yeah. He
didn't celebrate because, you know, they don't do that kind of stuff, but he was all jacked up. That was unbelievable.
I love the fact that when Brady was skating over, Matthew was leaning out of the penalty box.
Give me a high five.
Yeah, you're high-fiving.
Never before in the history of professional hockey has there ever been a moment that emulated the Mighty Ducks more.
That's true.
The Bash brothers, when they were getting into it, then you got Matthew going first, then Brady going second. How about Brady, while Matthew's fighting?
He's cheering.
No, he's cheering, and the referee's got to, like, pull him back. Mm-hmm. And then he stares into the Canada bench and looks at Bennett and says, "You're next." So he says, "You're next, we're going."
Yeah.
And so John Cooper is like, "All right." He's like, "Benny, go." Because he wasn't even on the ice.
Yeah.
And then how about big boy Colton Parayko?
He manhandled Miller.
Let me tell you something. JT Miller is tough. Like, we saw him go with Braden Shen. Shenner dropped him, but Shenner's like, he's been doing that a long time, you know? They're probably pretty on par as far as how tough they are. Colton Parayko, you could see he kind of hesitated at first, and then when he saw that Miller threw his gloves down, he's like, screw it.
Right.
Like, I'm going.
Right.
And then I was super impressed at the poise he had. Like, there was no panic. And then if he would have landed one of those uppercuts, JT Miller would still be on the ice.
Yeah. I mean, they were both trying to throw haymakers.
Oh, gosh.
They were both trying to knock each other out.
But I texted the big boy the next day. I said, "Hey, big boy, what a tilt," you know? And he's like, "Yeah, it's crazy beginning of the game." I'm like, "Dude, if you do that once every 20 games, there's not a person in the NHL that's going to go near you."
Yeah.
Like, that guy's a monster. He was throwing around JT Miller like he was 14.
Yeah. I mean, he had him by the jersey. It was just like...
It was like JT Miller's trying to ride a bull at the same time.
He was.
In Canada, you know, they're down Cale Makar, too. So to start the game off, 5 minutes in the box for Parayko, who's one of their, you know, their bigger defensive defensemen, it just didn't seem like something that he would do if he was playing in a regular season game. But this was completely different. And we talked about at the beginning of the show, like the game itself was just so different, but it was awesome. Like, this game was so cool that Colton Parayko got in a fight.
Yep.
So, that's true. You're right. And you know what? Good on Colton Parayko for not missing the moment.
Yeah.
Because somebody else may have dropped their gloves in that instant. He's like, screw it.
And they got a power play out of it, too,
I'll
because
fight
Miller
you.
dropped his gloves first.
Right.
But the beginning of that game, did it turn the Tkachuk brothers into international stars?
It should.
I'm serious, because you go on social media and, like, there were professional soccer players, like in the English Premier League, that were like, "Oh my God," like, couldn't believe what had happened, tweeting this stuff. Like, it's like the 9 seconds heard around the world
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So, Jamie, Marsh and I were talking about this to lead the show. To me, what this Team USA has done, it embodies what American hockey is, and at the forefront are the two Tkachuk brothers from St. Louis. They're the poster child now of what American hockey has become, which is a great thing. Because they've got this, they've got the skill, immense skill. They showcase it against Finland with those shots and those goals. So like you had all this offense against Finland. Then they turn back around and they're throwing. They're trying to knock out chicklets. Like I thought that whole game on Saturday night again embodied what American hockey is, and the Tkachuk brothers are forefront.
Like, think about it. So the very first poster child, plural, was the 1980 team. Probably Mike Eruzione is probably the Jim Craig, the goalie, and certainly Herb Brooks. Those were the guys like, okay, that's USA hockey. Go to like 1996, the World Cup of Hockey, and you've got Mike Modano, Chris Chelios. These guys were like the guys. Even Keith Tkachuk, Bill Guerin, some guys that were playing in that. And then Patrick Kane, certainly one of the guys, and who am I missing? Ryan Suter was a poster child for Team USA for a number of years, been to a couple of Olympics.
Ryan Miller in net.
Miller in net. And now it's absolutely the Tkachuk brothers. Think about that. They play on a team right now with Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
I mean, Connor Hellebuck. They got
speed, offensive skill.
Unbelievable talent, yet the Tkachuk brothers are like the poster children of Team USA.
I love it.
I love it.
You mentioned this last week with the Finland game, going back to that. Those two were not on the same line together until they were put on the same line together. That's really when things started to...
Oh, hell broke loose.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, how do you not put them on the same line together to start the damn game? Well, I understand why, but, like...
The thought process, Mike Sullivan kind of went into it. I saw an interview that he had. He goes, the thought process is you've got two of the most elite power forwards in the NHL. He's like, I thought we'd spread it out a little bit. Like each line gets a bruiser type thing. And then he goes, they kept bugging me. So I tried on the power play. Power play wasn't working. Put the two Tkachuks out there. And he goes, they scored.
Yep.
So he's after that, he's like, I'm not messing with this. Hey, Eichel, you want to send her the Tkachuks?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Well, you always talk about, certain players in the Blues being bulldogs. Like, those guys embody what being a bulldog is as a hockey player. And, you're always talking, or you have been talking about, like, American hockey. When you think of Canadian hockey, you think of Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, those type of skill players. And when I think of United States, yes, Austin Matthews is in that conversation, but he's kind of been in the background for this tournament.
Well,
like, he's had a couple of good shots, but yeah, because
the Tkachuks are scoring goals and they're beating faces in.
Right.
And they're like, when we talk about being a superstar too, you have to have that element of, like, you got to have a good personality too. Like, you can't be quiet.
And they're good people.
Exactly.
So, like, that's the one thing too. If they were Diamondbacks, per se, then it'd be like, but they're hugging the trainers after the thing. Like, they're good teammates. They're playing hard. They're doing it for the right reasons. Like, it's hard not to love those guys right now.
Yeah, they have, and they've talked about what it means to wear that sweater based on what Big Walt did in the 90s wearing that sweater and what it means. Like, they have completely embraced what it means to play for Team USA.
Real quick here, Jamie, obviously Team Canada, they're the other team now. They're going to the final. We've been talking about this quite a lot since you've been gone, but there's been a lot of, what would you call it, animosity towards Jordan Binnington and how he's played. What are your thoughts on how he's played, and do you think the criticism for him is justified based on some of the goals that he's let up?
Let's see the gold medal game. That's it, because that's what Jordan Binnington is. He's a big game player. So let's see what happens in the final gold medal game, whatever you want to call it, the championship game. If Jordan Binnington stands on his friggin' head, then all of the Canadian media or whoever is questioning it will be quiet very quickly. And John Cooper pretty much said that today. He was asked again about Binnington. He goes, are you kidding me? He's like, did you see some of the great saves he's made? He's saved games for us here. And he's our biggest game goalie. Boom, done. Like, now, if he falls flat on his face, let's say the U.S. pumps in 4 or 5 goals and 2 or 3 of them are like, then Jordan Binnington is in a battle. A real battle for the ability to make the Olympic team next year. So right now, Jordan Binnington is considered to be the #1 big game goalie out of Canada, which is exactly why not only did he get picked, he was anointed the number one spot, and no other goalie will touch the crease except for Binnington.
I think the biggest question now is who will Jamie be rooting for now on Thursday, considering he's now and has said he's a member of the United States.
It's a win-win for me.
Oh, Jamie.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, my home country, the United States of America.
Yeah. Playing your other home country.
Well, that's not my home country.
Canada.
That was my birth country.
Oh, that's your birth country. I gotcha. So
this is my home country.
Your home country versus your birth country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and quite honestly, it's a win-win for everybody because apparently Canada is going to be the 51st state.
Yeah, there you go. So you'd be good anyways. Yeah. You're good all the way around.
How do they do that moving forward? USA 1, USA 2?
I guess.
It's like bobsled.
Sure, they'll figure it out. We have the U.S. and Sweden matchup tonight. Pregame starting right after our show at 6 o'clock. Puck will drop at 7. And we do have the Four Nations Championship on Thursday night. Pregame again starting at 6 o'clock. The puck will drop at 7 o'clock. Rafael Devers isn't super excited that Alex Bregman is in town for Boston.
How do you like me now?
He's in Fort Myers, Florida for spring training. They asked him, hey, you got to move to DH? And he said, nah.
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
I can't wait to see this unfold.
We'll talk about whether or not Boston should have thought ahead a little bit. That's next on 101 ESPN.
I mean, third base is my position. It's what I've played. You know, I don't know what their plans are. Like, I know we had a conversation. I made it clear kind of what my desires were. And yeah, whatever happens from here, I don't know. Like I said before, like my position is third base. I don't know how they want to go about it or what they want to do, but I know that that's the position I get ready to play every day.
How would you react if they asked you to DH? How would you feel about that?
No.
Can you translate that, please?
So that was Rafael Devers in Fort Myers, Florida, where the Red Sox had their spring training.
What a great day for Red Sox baseball.
All right, so we signed this guy, Alex Bregman. It's super exciting. Any chance you're willing to play another position, Rafael Devers? No.
I feel bad for his translator. He's like, oh, geez,
Oh,
I'm the
boy.
one that has to say all this.
I think it would be hilarious to be able to do that. It's like it'd be like being the mascot.
Yeah.
You get to just he said it, not
He said,
me.
I'll go ahead and translate this, but you're not going to like it.
With all due respect.
With all due respect, go fast lane yourself, is what Rafael Devers said. So it would have been smart for the Red Sox to have a plan before bringing in a new player such as Alex Bregman. Would it have been best to talk to Rafael Devers? Guys, I'm always in the camp of like what's ideal and what's realistic. Ideally, yeah, you get on the same page, you talk to Rafael Devers, everybody is square, everybody's good. Hey, you're willing to move positions. We're all good here. Realistically, if you want to bring in Bregman and you're the front office, you're not going to consult with a lot of people. Should they have consulted with Rafael Devers? Maybe, but you're trying to make your team better. And part of your job as a front office is acquire the talent and then figure it out. Again, that's not ideal.
That's tough, though, when the talents play the same position.
You're trying to make all the pieces fit, but when you're talking about somebody like Bregman, again, we're not talking about somebody that is, I don't know, slightly below Devers' ability. This is a major signing.
Who's better? Overall, Bregman, right? Because Devers is terrible defensively. Last year
Devers
was
isn't good
terrible.
defensively, yeah.
But overall, like if you combine the offensive side, like who?
I mean, overall, it's Bregman because of the defense. Devers obviously is a pure hitter. He's a great hitter.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But again, Jamie, maybe I'm wrong on this. But let's play this out. You call Devers. Devers isn't willing to change positions. You go back to Bregman. Well, Devers isn't ready to. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to take my talents elsewhere then, and you miss out on Bregman, or you sign him. You bring him in, and you let the situation play out. Hey, Alex Cora, now it's your problem.
Or you trade for a guy who said he's willing to change positions.
So, a couple things.
Is he Alex Bregman?
No. He's not.
What'd you say, Anthony?
Is he Alex Bregman?
No, what'd you say after that? That you didn't actually say it. You just mouthed it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
So, a couple things. One, when you have a star player like Rafael Devers, you have to run it past him. Like you have to test the temperature of the water. You know he's a third baseman. Mm-hmm. You told him, or Chaim Bloom told him.
Which is hilarious.
Which is the best, by the way, because Alex Cora said something like, yeah, Chaim Bloom's not here anymore.
St. Louis.
Yeah, he's in
flat out said, yeah, Bloom's in St. Louis now.
So, but as the manager, you know what was said to this player. Mm-hmm. So as the manager, it's your job now to talk to the president of baseball operations and say, hey, listen, let's see if we're on the same page with Devers or not. If we're not, are we willing to just move on from this player? If so, let's start kicking the tires about a possible trade. And that's it. And if you're Devers, like, if I'm Devers, I would be absolutely pissed. I'm the star of the team. You gave me the money. You gave me third base and told me it's mine. Mm. And now you're taking it away. You're making me look like an idiot. I understand it's for the best of the team. It's for the best of the team. If that's so, then have Bregman play second base.
Yeah.
If it's for the best of the team to have us both in the lineup. I can understand how pride and ego would get in the way. Mm-hmm. For me, I'd be like, hey, here's my third base glove, Bregman. Do I still get to be on the team?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I'll DH.
I'll do whatever it takes, man. But the guys who are superstars like that, they don't want to do that. They want to be the show.
Right.
Which is always, I'll go back to the Red Wings. which was always amazing how Scotty Bowman, Ken Holland, and Mike Ilitch kept all of those egos in check to win as much as they did. Because it's really hard to have two superstars in the same room, let alone the same lineup, let alone the same position, Anthony.
No kidding.
So if this comes to, if it comes to a bad ending for this, you're going to have to trade him. And I know what Marshy was alluding to. If you're the Cardinals today, if I'm John Mozeliak and I see what's going on, I'm like, hey, what does a package look like for Devers? We're starting with Arenado. We'll send you Arenado plus, because I think it would have to be a plus, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
wouldn't you pick up the phone and test it? Because you were just talking to these guys nonstop about Arenado. You couldn't come to a deal because Bregman, but now Arenado said he's willing to play a different position, and the Red Sox were interested.
You would have to get a third team involved with that. The Cardinals wouldn't take Devers. They're trying to offload money right now.
Yeah, I understand what you're asking, Jamie. It's like, hey,
I'll take him.
Right. Devers, I think, is making north of $300 million.
Oh, yeah, forget it.
Total?
Yeah, forget it.
Yeah. I was trying to say that.
Marshy, we can go to commercial.
I was trying to let you down easy, Jamie, but
no, it could work, though.
But I thought with the money, I thought in my head the money was comparable, but it's not. And plus, you've got Devers signed until he's like 93, I think.
Yeah.
If
Plus,
you did get a third team involved, then it could work. If you're sending Arenado to Boston, Devers gets sent to wherever, and then all of a sudden you get prospects or whatever from the other team.
Yeah, I see.
Actually, the best trade would be Arenado plus, whatever it is, within reason, for Devers. You acquire Devers, and now the Cardinals trade Devers to the third team who wants him and will pay him, and you try to get all of their yummy little prospects or good young players.
Which I think the best team to do that with, but it wouldn't really work, would be the Cubs.
Yeah.
Because they were also in on Bregman. So
it would be a much, 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 much larger scale of what we saw between the Dodgers, White Sox, and Cardinals a year ago, where the Dodgers got Tommy Edman, the Cardinals got Fetty and Pham, and the White Sox got prospects. Cardinals would be the White Sox in that scenario. They're getting the prospects.
What do the Astros have?
Their farm system in
Paredes, right?
They have Isak Paredes. They play third base. If
they were wanting to trade for Arenado, Devers might be appealing to them.
He might be. Yeah, but they also might be set because they got Walker. They got Christian Walker at first now, and then they got Paredes at third. I don't know. I like your out of the box thinking.
I feel like
I'm just trying, man.
I know you are.
That would send the Red Sox backwards, though. You're essentially, bringing one guy in but sending out the other guy. It wouldn't really make sense because why bring in Bregman anyways if you're not trying to compete in the AL East?
Yeah.
To me, you're getting worse if you get rid of Devers.
Ultimately, I think they're going to sit down and, break bread and try to make this thing work.
Yeah.
Because the Red Sox are absolutely a much better team with both of those guys in your lineup.
Right.
If Devers is just completely unwilling, though, you have to do something. You can't just leave a disgruntled star who will refuse to play. You suspend him. But
well, the Yankees in the 2000s made it work with A-Rod and Jeter. Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
But that's
A-Rod
because
was willing to go to third.
A-Rod was willing to go to third.
He's like, Jeter, and he loved Jeter. He was like obsessed with Jeter. He's like, no, Jeter's the shortstop. I'll play third. Just as long as I'm next to him. That's what A-Rod said behind closed doors. All right. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN.
Choked up again.
I am.
Something about the Chaim Bloom and the Red Sox and
totally.
Baseball. It's back.
It's emotional. We're talking about Team USA earlier.
And patriotic guy that you are.
I'm proud.
Anthony.
I'm absolutely proud.
Absolutely. Me too.
Speaking of Team USA, it is your home country.
Is Croatia going to be in the Olympics next
At some point? I'm sure they will be.
Jamie, we're used to him having 3 teams. Maybe if Croatia makes their way into the Olympics next year.
Croatia makes their way into the Olympics. I might play.
Yeah, you might as well. That'd be awesome.
What an experience
that would be. A different red and white. He'll be donning.
Jeremy Rutherford's going to join us next. We'll get his thoughts on the Four Nations tournament here on 101 ESPN.
If you're thinking about selling your house anytime soon here in the St. Louis area, please take a moment and call my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. The market can be tough. It's ever-changing. We know all about that. Gloria Liu has been in the business for well over 20 years, and she understands where the market is going. Not where it's been, but it's where it's going, which is perfect for you because that means she's going to price your home to sell, and she's going to sell it for the most money possible, and that's why Gloria Liu should be your first phone call. She's got a database with thousands of buyers as well, which really helps. It guides a whole bunch of traffic to your listing, hopefully lots of showings, and you know how that works. Lots of showings creates competition for the buyers, maybe multiple offers here, and maybe you're getting above list price. You never know. That has happened, and Gloria Liu is proud to say that she does that a lot for her customers. So please pick up the phone, call Gloria Liu, tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. Again, 314-325-6888, or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The rematch is set. Team USA will take on Team Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Final on Thursday. Team USA defeated Canada on Saturday by a final score of 3-1, and the Canadians just took down Finland 5-3, so they have secured their spot in the final. We'll have that game for you right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7 on Thursday, but before that, we have the United States taking on Sweden tonight, and that one is also with the pregame starting at 6, puck drop at 7. To talk about the Four Nations face-off, we're going to have our guy, Jeremy Rutherford from The Athletic, joining the show. We'll talk all things hockey coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Time for the Rutherford Report on 101 ESPN.
Anything you folks want to know about the fascinating world of pro hockey, here we go.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's head to our Thompson and Collier and Thompson phone line. Talk to our guy, Jeremy Rutherford. JR, how you doing?
Doing well, boys. I want to play a game of Where's Rutherford? I am in beautiful Iowa for a softball tournament.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
Who's playing?
It's not Cancun. There's no rivers running around in a thong here, but it's about 8.
That's too bad.
Hey, you never know, JR. How long are you going to be in Iowa?
Come on up.
Yeah, you can make the trip out there.
My daughter, Georgia, is in a tournament here today, and you guys have probably been through this before. So 3:45 is what time the game is supposed to start. But you show up at the fields, and guess what? There's a delay. They're 45 minutes behind. So you got the 4-hour drive home later, so we should be getting in around midnight or so. And a good time, though. 8 degrees. Normally I step outside to do these radio interviews with you guys, but it's 8 degrees, so I'm going to stay inside.
Yeah, stay inside. And, JR, I know exactly what you're talking about. Ashley's little guy, Reed, had a hockey tournament this weekend in Louisville. And we're supposed to start at a certain time. It's like 45 minutes late each day. I'm like, how do we do this? Every day, huh?
How do we get back there?
Every day, huh?
It just means get another beer.
Yeah, that's right. What position does Georgia play?
JR Waters.
Waters. Yeah, she's plays a little bit of the outfield and a little bit of shortstop, but a real good team. And they got a nice indoor facility up here. I don't know if people back in St. Louis made this trip if you got a softball player in your family, but just a massive warehouse with some indoor fields.
JR, how would your daughter or even you react if the team brought in another player that was second base and outfield and told her she couldn't play her position anymore?
Yeah, that's happened to me quite a few times in my career, so she'd probably be used to it. It's probably in the genes there. So you guys are funny.
Our guy, Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic, our Blues insider with The Athletic, joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. JR, a couple of years ago, well, last year, not even a couple of years ago, but last year when, actually, no, it wasn't last year. It was a couple of years ago when the Panthers had lost in the Stanley Cup final. I felt like Matthew Tkachuk was becoming an NHL star. Like it was clear he's becoming an NHL star. But after what we saw in the Four Nations tournament, Jamie posed the question, are the Tkachuk brothers becoming national or global stars?
For sure. And I kind of thought going into this tournament, this just means so much to these guys. I mean, Jamie knows talking to these guys. I've talked to him about, playing for Team USA. I remember a year or two ago talking to Matthew saying, hey, would you like to be the captain of this Olympic team coming up? And you could just see it. He's excited. And then the Four Nations tournament, they get this opportunity to play together. They're on a line together the other night. And guys, Riv, you watch a ton of hockey. The other night when that game starts and you see that first fight, like your jaw just drops. Like you've seen those situations throughout the NHL where retaliation. Jake Neighbors fights the other night, but you don't expect it at the start of U.S.-Canada. Four Nations, Matthew Tkachuk, and then 3 seconds later, just unbelievable. But to answer your question, Anthony, yes, these two guys are monsters. They're great players. I think not only is Matthew a star in this league, and Brady, I think, is there too, but you're looking at globally, everybody knows who the Tkachuk brothers are.
JR, it's so wild to think about. Well, first of all, to go back and remember these guys, just little kids running around the rink and doing stuff and hacking and whacking each other with little shinny sticks and things like that. But now, like when you look around the NHL, and I've used this word before for both of these guys, they're unicorns. Like, look at what happened against Finland. They decided to go out there and dominate, and they both scored 2 goals. I think Matthew had an assist too, 5 points between the two of them. And then the very next game, they're smashing faces in. Like, I mean, Tom Wilson is a very good version of it, but he doesn't have the elite skill of Brady or Matthew. These guys... who else in the NHL has one of these players?
I don't think there is anybody, and that's not just to single out the 2 hometown guys, but when you talk about the elite level skill, we're not just talking about good skill, we're talking about great skill. Matthew Tkachuk could score a highlight goal that could stack up with anybody in the league. But what I like about these two is not only are they throwbacks, they play like their dad, but they actually enjoy having that role and playing that style. Matthew, a year or 2 ago, I was writing a story about him, and you know what he said? He said that the coolest thing that Brady and I have found is that this game can still exist the way we want to play it. Yeah, the game's evolved. Yeah, it's speed. Yeah, there's a ton of skill coming in, but we can still do our thing like our dad did, and we think that still has a place in the NHL today, and they're continuing to prove it. They go out there and they do whatever it takes. If it takes going into a corner and kind of ruffling a guy's feathers, that's what they're doing. If it takes a goal, they're doing that. If it takes a fight, they're doing that. They do whatever it takes.
JR, speaking of fights, what'd you think of Colton Parayko dropping the mitts the other night?
How about that? And, obviously that came a couple seconds later, and it was kind of more in play as opposed to there at the faceoff circle. But JT Miller, obviously he had an intent to fight Colton Parayko. And Parayko, I know that was he's had 3 fights in the NHL, so let's just say 4 since he turned pro there. But he just went. Gloves are off, I'm going, and he threw some haymakers, and I think JT Miller looked like he went through got ready for a haunted house after the game. He was painted up by Colton Parayko. But how about the big guy? I mean, it's just something to stand next to him and talk to Colton Parayko, how soft-spoken he is. He looks for his words. He tries to say the right thing. But, the guy's 6'6", 228 pounds. So when he's dealing, and that's what we saw the other night.
All right, JR, to bring it back to the Blues here a little bit, I mean, of course, when you get all of these hockey people together in Montreal and now Boston, I mean, the rumor mill just starts going. And so many people talking about the Blues and what they may or may not do. What are you hearing out there? Because you're a guy that's pretty dialed in, especially with some of these insiders. The big talk is Braden Shen. What would the haul be for Braden Shen? And I don't know if that's even on the table, because when you talk to people surrounding the organization, like, no, we haven't floated Braden Shen out there at all. But what are you hearing?
Yeah, and so that's the way this thing works. Just to give some context to this situation, you operate in St. Louis, you talk to a lot of St. Louis people, and Doug Armstrong keeps everything close to the vest. But a lot of these national guys, and that's where some of these reports came from, the Darren Dragers and the Chris Johnstons and the Pierre LeBruns of the world, I talk to them regularly, and they're in contact with agents and executives. And even before kind of the rumors started to come out last week, they were calling me saying, hey, what's the situation with Shen? Because I'm hearing his name is out there. And to me, I haven't talked to anybody within the Blues who would either confirm or deny that. But when you listen to the ability for the Blues to potentially move Braden Shen's contract, if there were teams interested, Riv, why wouldn't they consider it? I think Braden Shen is a good captain, a good leader. He's playing very well this year. But if you're moving into the future, you're not going to make the playoffs this year potentially, and you're bringing these young guys in. Yes, you need that leadership around, but if you got 3 years left on that contract, and that's a contract you can move, I could see that it could make sense if there's teams out there interested. And in talking to the Chris Johnstons, the Pierre LeBruns, it sounds like there's some teams interested.
JR, we'll let you go, man. Good luck to Georgia. Hopefully she plays hard and has fun and comes home with a dub.
Yep, and hopefully we get home before the snow comes in. So, what's it looking like on that front, you guys?
Well, so far so good, but you're a parent. The kids have basically been home since middle of December, and it looks like they'll probably be home all week too.
My kids have been getting home since 2018.
Pretty much. Feels like it sometimes.
We'll see when we get back. Thanks a lot.
Travel safe, bud. Thank you. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. It's our guy Jeremy Rutherford with The Athletic. You can follow him at JP Rutherford on Twitter. Marshy's got what's trending for you next on 101 ESPN.
Are you looking to spice up your vehicle just a little bit? Please head over to Pure Performance. They are your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. And look, maybe you've had the same vehicle for 3, 4, 5 years. It's still a beautiful vehicle, but you want it to be just a little unique out there, just a little different from all the other vehicles. That's where Pure Performance dominates the market. Whatever your vehicle is, whether it's a Jeep, a Bronco, SUV, pickup truck, Pure Performance has got you covered. They've got the lift kits, the leveling kits. They've got so many unbelievable accessories that will make your vehicle unique. And the best part about Pure Performance is their technicians are incredible. So whatever you drop your car off and then you go to pick it up, you're going to be blown away with how awesome it looks. And you can stop by. Check out the 25,000 square foot facility. When you get in there, though, please ask for Shelby or Caleb. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. And then tell them what you're looking to do. They're the experts, man. They're going to point you in the right direction. They're going to give you the best stuff. And they're going to do it for the best price available and make sure that you're completely satisfied. So again, stop by in person, but if not, at least check them out online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
Topics in the sports world.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Jamie Rivers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, I put this in the group chat. I believe it was yesterday. It's a good thing Carey Davis isn't here. Because his Illini not only lost this basketball game, but my goodness, an absolute blunder at halftime as the Illinois Illini, the Fighting Illini, were honoring Terrence Shannon Jr., and they were unveiling his banner, and it was backwards.
Was it backwards or upside down?
It was upside down. Upside down.
upside down.
How does that happen?
I mean, obviously it happens, but it's a tough look. Honoring a excellent player in your program history, and you decide to unveil that puppy, and it's upside down. Upside down. Yeah, not great. Not a great look for the Illini. Carey wasn't happy with it. He just gave us the gif of Jonah Hill when he's kind of rubbing his eyes and tapping his forehead. Yeah. Kind of encapsulated what he was feeling.
All I'm thinking of when I saw that was, so who is the guy who set it up that way? Because you've got your workers or whoever is they're setting
that guy's heart's dropping as that thing is going up. Oh.
But do you not, I've seen banners and jerseys retired and hours before it happens, they hook it up and make sure that the mechanism's working.
Yeah.
They raise it up 10, 12, 13 feet.
Makes sense.
Nobody checked this, apparently.
You had one job. Frank, you had one job.
What did the hooks go? The hooks are already there, right? So
Maybe it was
whoever
built
made
wrong.
it, whoever made it had to make it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what did they do? What was the pivot? They just raised it up upside down and left it there?
They left it there until
This
the
is
game
what we
was
think
over.
of you.
Till the game was over, then they brought it back down, flipped it, and then he was able to take pictures in front of it with his family. After the game was over, there's no fans in the stand, and the team lost.
The moment
was ruined for him.
The emotional moment.
Oh, no.
You see all these athletes and people. The emotional moment is they're watching it being raised.
Yeah.
And it's like the wife and the kids and everything, they're hugging you and everything. And little tears are starting to go. He'll never get that moment.
No, he'll never get it back. No. It'll forever be known as the time that they hung the banner upside down.
Do you think that's embarrassing for him in a sense? It's like secondhand embarrassment because his name will forever be linked to that.
Right. He has nothing to be embarrassed about, but I know what you're asking.
It's secondhand embarrassment.
No, he totally was embarrassed. I would have been embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'd be sitting there going, really? You thought this much of me? To give me a banner but then put it up upside down? And now I'm going to be a meme, basically.
Yeah. Right. You turned me into a meme.
Because everybody will be, remember that time in Illinois? Put that banner up upside down.
Terrence Shannon.
That's tough.
If you're the guy, though, you're
fired, right?
Well, here's the thing.
Who are you blaming? If you're the guy, who are you blaming at that point?
You have to admit to two things. One, you did it wrong. But two, you didn't check it out beforehand.
Yeah.
You're admitting to two things now. Because you would have caught it had you raised it up. So if you practiced it, like you were saying, Jamie, and I don't know, maybe there was an emergency or something like that they couldn't test, it's fine. But you made the mistake of putting it on wrong and also not checking to make sure that this family doesn't have their banner ceremony ruined.
I almost wonder, so typically these banner raisings happen before the game. So I remember when the Blues won the Stanley Cup, that thing was already out there before.
Yeah.
It's kind of ready to go. I wonder because this was at halftime, maybe they did raise it and then all of a sudden they took it off and then wheeled it to the side or something.
They set the hooks up upside down.
Yeah. I don't know because I guess the hooks were on the other side because they ended up raising it the right way at the end, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, well.
I don't know.
That's a tough look.
It's very tough.
Guys, Mike Trout is moving to right field. It's probably a good thing for the MVP, All-Star, great baseball player.
Is it less wear and tear? I mean, there's more ground to cover in center, but you're closer to the wall in right.
Why don't they just make him a DH? Just take a lot of that out of the equation right now.
That's true.
I mean, he still has athleticism to him. You don't want to put that guy.
Why does he still want to be there?
That's
seriously.
That's the bigger question.
Never mind right field, center field, backfield. I don't care. What are you doing playing for the Angels, bro?
I just feel like his career
Has there been a more frustrating athlete? I just thought of this. Has there been a more frustrating athlete where you're like, come on, demand a trade?
I want to find a way to talk to him.
Yeah.
And be like, what are you thinking? We're comfortable here. With the money you're making, you'll be comfortable anywhere.
Go win a title. I mean, we get it. You wanted to be there. You wanted a championship there.
Yeah, you're devoted.
Past
Great.
You're past loyal. We got it.
Would you say it's like a waste of talent?
Yes. It's a waste of
absolutely
everything.
Yes.
What have they ever done with Mike Trout?
Nothing.
They had Ohtani and Trout and couldn't do anything.
No offense, I'm not.
And Pujols, that's right.
No offense to your third child, but it's like the Lions when they had Barry for all those years, had the best running back in the league. Nothing. Had the best receiver in the league, and Calvin Johnson, generational talent. 2 generational talents.
Yeah.
Nothing to show for it.
Matthew Stafford, great quarterback.
Yeah. That hurts. But yeah, Shohei, Albert, Mike Trout, no pitching.
I know, but at what point does a guy like that finally just say, okay, uncle, trade me?
Right.
And they say, where do you want to go?
Right.
Wherever he said he'd go, that team would arguably give up pretty much anything to get him. I know he's had some injuries.
At one point, yeah.
But even still.
But I don't know now.
He's the only thing that's keeping people from staying at home and not going to the ballpark.
Sure.
Like, if you traded Mike Trout, who on that team do you want to get up and go? We're having questions about people wanting to go watch the Cardinals. Imagine what the conversations are. And
the Anthony Rendon. Oh, wait.
Anthony, stay home.
Yeah.
That's what
no
he
kidding.
never plays.
They got Joe Adell.
Oh, boy.
They got that one guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Marshy, to your first question, I don't care where he plays because he's still playing for the Angels.
Walsh still there? They got Walsh.
No. Walsh?
Yeah, Jared Walsh.
Jared Walsh.
Wait, am I doing the Gauntlet today?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for the heads up, boys.
Yeah.
My brain's a little mush.
Championship, too. Championship.
Son of a...
I lost.
You could have given me a text or something.
It's better this way.
Yeah, maybe. Tanisha just reminded me in the snake.
Yeah, you got to face Hal.
No, Hal's still going?
Yeah.
Shallow Hal.
Yep. He beat
all of us.
He beat, was it Marsh first?
Yeah, because that's how we determined that he was a bad guy.
Yeah,
this is the scumbag.
Beat CD.
Yeah.
And then I lost to him in a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. What did you go with, Anthony?
Believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
I was off by 3.
And he was closer?
I was off by like 10. He was off by 7 or something like that. It was real close.
What was the question? It was...
Because I went with 3.
It was hits. It was
3,069.
Yeah.
For Ichiro hits. I went 3,069. He went 3,072. It was like 3,082 or something like that.
I think it was 3,080 or... I thought it was 79.
Maybe that's what it was.
Wow, I feel a little nervous now, guys.
Yeah, Hal's been real good.
Has Hal had hockey yet?
I can't remember.
I had baseball with him.
Because I feel like that, based on what you're telling me, that might be my only chance.
He did. He beat Carey in hockey.
Okay. Well, maybe it's not. Although Carey, I remember that one. Carey got 0 points.
I think he beat him 1-0 or something.
It was not.
Either way, let's do this.
All right.
Gauntlet trophy on the line as Jamie Rivers, our last hope, fresh off vacation.
Fresh with a brain full of mush right now.
Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN. Before the NCAA tournament arrives on our TV screens, you can go check out the Missouri Valley Conference Arch Madness Tournament, which comes to St. Louis every year. They host it at the Enterprise Center, and it's always a great time. March 6th through the 9th is when the Arch Madness Tournament comes about. First round is at Thursday, March 6th, and it leads all the way to that Sunday championship match on March 9th, and they're offering for $104 their Family Fun Pack, which is a great way to get the entire family involved. Head down to Enterprise Center and watch some great college basketball. 4 single-session tickets, 4 large sodas, and 4 regular popcorns. That's what the Family Fun Pack is. So, again, you can bring your family. You can watch one of the sessions of the Arch Madness Tournament. Maybe you're rooting for Drake this year. Is having an incredible year. Maybe you went to Bradley or Missouri State, whatever. They always have a great tournament. The final is usually close, and the tournament overall is always a lot of fun. So check out that family fun pack for Arch Madness, which comes to St. Louis March 6th through the 9th.
Warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
4:04, your time check, brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. And for the 4th show, we welcome in Hal, who has an opportunity to win a Gauntlet trophy and punch his ticket into the Gauntlet playoffs, which come about, December, would you say?
End of the year.
End of the year. Hal, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Not great. Not great at all. We appreciate you having some flexibility. We know we had to pause the championship, but I know you wouldn't have it any other way, as Jamie is now back.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
All right, we'll find out if Jamie is.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Hal. I'm probably a little brain dead from all the alcohol I had on my vacation, but, good luck, buddy.
Probably makes you a little smarter.
You know what?
It might.
It might.
Yeah.
That's a good thought.
Yeah. Increased it. Yeah.
All right, Hal. Good luck, man.
Sports knowledge.
Good luck.
All right, Jamie's going to make his way to the cone of silence. Hal, you're going to tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Marsh, spin that wheel.
All right, here we go. Hal, what do you want? What do you want for your title?
Anything but hockey. Anything but
hockey. And the wheel says, go fast lane yourself.
Not this time.
Oh.
It is football.
Oh, football.
All right.
Okay, so, Hal, you're going to get, you haven't got football yet, have you?
Nope. This will end up being, I'll have gotten all 4.
Oh, that's cool. So it's kind of like the old Gauntlet.
Yeah.
4 different categories. All right. So, Hal, you're going to get 4 football-related questions. All worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions are worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Question 1. The Packers won the first 2 Super Bowls. Who won Super Bowl III?
The New York Jets.
Final answer?
Yep.
Who's their quarterback?
Joe Namath.
Joe Willie Namath.
Question number 2. The Packers defeated the Chiefs in Super Bowl I. Which team did they defeat in Super Bowl II?
Okay, you said they beat the Chiefs in Super Bowl I.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Raiders, I think. I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Final answer?
Final answer, yeah.
Question 3. Name the first wide receiver to win Super Bowl MVP.
I'll take the options.
Fred Biletnikoff, Jerry Rice, Lynn Swann.
Let's go Lynn Swann.
Final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
In question number 4, who was the last non-quarterback to win Super Bowl MVP?
The last okay. Can I have a minute? Let me think. Okay, so pretty confident Edelman won it when they beat the Rams, and that was 2018. So then 2019 was the Chiefs. I think Mahomes won. I think Brady won 21, I think. Let's go Edelman.
Final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
All right, let's bring back Jamie. Hal, how you feeling on this championship Monday?
I'm feeling pretty solid.
Okay.
This should be a good one.
Let's see where Jamie is.
That was pretty fast, guys.
It can only mean one of 2 things.
It's either really well or really bad.
Typically, that's how it goes. Jamie, how was the Cone of Silence?
Was quiet, lonely, and nerve-wracking.
Okay.
I'm hoping that these questions, whatever it is, are in my wheelhouse.
Okay. Football is your category.
Oh, yeah, Anthony, I love me some foosball.
Pack a lunch.
Oh, really?
Here we go. Question 1, Jamie.
Yeah.
Again, the Gauntlet trophy's on the line here.
Yeah.
The Packers won the first 2 Super Bowls. Who won Super Bowl III?
It was Joe Namath, was it? No. Not Joe Namath. Not Super Bowl III. Huh?
We're asking you.
I know, guys. I'm working my way through it, okay?
Okay.
Can I just do that?
Can I finish?
I'll go with the New York Jets. Final answer.
Question number 2.
Who was their starting quarterback?
I thought it was Joe Namath, but I think that's wrong. Maybe it's right.
Question number 2. The Packers defeated the Chiefs in Super Bowl I.
Mm-hmm.
Which team did they defeat in Super Bowl II?
I actually know this. Just watched something on ESPN a couple weeks ago. I think I know it's the Oakland Raiders. Final answer.
Chad in the snake pit mentality. Tell Jamie and Anthony sent you.
Oh, yeah. Take great care of you.
Again, that's for Chad in the snake pit. All right. Number 3. Question number 3. Name the first wide receiver to win Super Bowl MVP.
First wide receiver. Well, one would think it was Jerry Rice, but I think it was... Oh, did he win MVP? I'm thinking Lynn Swann with the Steelers, but did he actually win MVP? Repeat the question, please.
Name the first wide receiver to win Super Bowl MVP.
So it's definitely a wide receiver. Marshy, laughing. I was just making sure that...
I'm just laughing.
But why you do that?
I just find you to be funny. Is that a problem?
He doesn't want to do the Carey where he rushes through it. And then
the faces that you're making, I find funny.
It's under a lot of pressure right now.
I understand that.
Got a headache brewing, too.
You got a nice tan going on, too, so when you squint your face, it just, you look like that little red guy from the Pixar movie with all the...
Anger?
From all the emotions.
Yeah, Inside Out. Anger.
Yes, Inside Out.
I've seen that movie. Maybe it's a different one. Lynn Swan, final answer.
Question number 4.
What's wrong with you?
Who was the last non-quarterback to win Super Bowl MVP?
Okay. In my head, I believe it has to be a wide receiver. Now, which one? Okay, let's go through these here. You got my homies. You got Jalen Hurts. Who? Ooh, hold up. Yeah.
Hold up. Wait.
Who won it? I think it's the Rams. Oh. I'll take the options.
Options are Von Miller, Julian Edelman, or Cooper Kupp.
I don't think it was Edelman. I feel like I would remember that because he's a Patriot. Von Miller, though, was he before or after Cooper Kupp? I think it's a wide receiver, and I don't think it's Edelman. I'll go Cooper Kupp. Final answer.
All right, let's go over these. Jamie versus Hal.
Sweating.
In football with a Gauntlet trophy on the line. Here we go. Question 1. The Packers won the first 2 Super Bowls. Who won Super Bowl 3? Jamie, you said the New York Football Jets.
Yeah.
Hal, you said the New York Football Jets.
Oh, gosh.
Correct answer is Jets. Jets. Neither of you needed the options. We've got a 2-2 tie.
Damn it, Hal.
The Packers defeated the Chiefs in Super Bowl 1. Which team did they defeat in Super Bowl 2? Jamie, you said the Raiders. Hal, you also said the Raiders.
No way.
Correct answer is the Raiders. Neither of you needed the options for that one. We've got a 4-4 tie. Name the first wide receiver to win Super Bowl MVP.
I feel good about this.
Jamie, you said Lynn Swan. Hal, you said Lynn Swan.
No way.
Correct answer is...
It is Lynn Swan.
No, but Jamie did not need the options on that one, so Jamie's got a 1-point lead. It comes down to this. You both have different answers.
Of course.
Jamie is up 6-5. Hal did not use the options on this one.
I don't feel good about that.
Jamie did, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, gosh.
Jamie up by 1.
I know where this is going.
Oh, we're going to have a winner. There will be no tiebreaker.
Oh, shnikes.
Who's the last non-quarterback to win Super Bowl MVP? Jamie, you took the options and said Cooper Kupp.
I feel bad about that now.
The options were Von Miller, Cooper Kupp, and Julian Edelman, which is who Hal took without the options.
Oh, no.
So if it's Julian Edelman, Hal wins by 1. If it's Cooper Kupp, Jamie wins by 2. If it's Von Miller, Jamie wins by 1.
I don't like this Edelman factor.
Hal.
You have chosen poorly.
The answer is Cooper Kupp. He did do it with the Rams. Jamie 7, Hal 5. Hal, tremendous effort, man. I don't know if the kids are crying in the background, but you have nothing to hang your head about.
As soon as I said Edelman, I was like, oh, that was Kupp. But, hey.
Hey, you made it this far.
Run,
Again, hell of a run.
Dude.
A lot of people don't make it out of the first round. Nevertheless, to a Gauntlet title match. And to post 5 points, man. Again, nice job, man.
Good job, Hal.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care, buddy.
Have a good week.
All right, you too. Bye.
Thanks. I feel bad for Hal. I just sense it through the phone. Hal is like, I knew it was Cooper Kupp. Like, he knew the answer.
Well, typically we don't have listeners go through, like, the history of certain things. They kind of just answer. Whereas you see some of us, we start to kind of use the process of elimination. And so he was going through everything, and I was waiting for him to say Cooper Kupp with the Rams against the Bengals. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, too.
Yeah.
About he had a dream.
He was kind of
dream.
Did Edelman ever win it?
He did against the Rams.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
The 13-3 game.
Oh, I had him not. Oh, man.
I would have, if I was just going off the top of my head, I would have said Von Miller.
When I heard Von Miller, I was like, oh, man, because I know he won it.
But I would have jumped to that one.
Oh.
I would have jumped to that one, and that was in 2016, I think.
Yeah, it was Super Bowl 50.
Nice job, Jamie. You saved us. You saved our bacon today, bud.
I got lucky. As I was watching one of those...
7 points is not lucky.
You know how you fall into those ESPN films?
Absolutely.
It was like all like the old school Super Bowls.
Oh, those are great.
Walking you through everything?
Pretty much, yeah. So I fell into this victory because I was up late watching one of those things.
No.
People might say the time off really got to Hal. We talk about the Major League Baseball with the buys.
Right now. In fact, in the snake pit.
Did we freeze the kicker?
DLW 1904. They called the timeout on Hal, froze him.
And we have Robbie, too.
Hal cooled off, yeah.
Robbie, we're bringing him back from last week, too.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Sometimes you go into an environment, and the environment is not friendly. It's hostile.
It is.
And you throw a couple haymakers in the first 9 seconds of a game, and then you go ahead and you rise above and you win that game 3-1.
Yeah.
Or in this case, 7-5 for Jamie. Yeah. All right. Nice job, Jamie.
Thank you.
It's fast. It's big. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. Is Jordan Walker a lock to be the everyday right fielder? I would think.
I'll ask Mo.
That's next on 101 ESPN.
Nobody does it better than Londoff Chevrolet. They have unbelievable inventory. They got 2 locations, too. The original location out in Florissant, Missouri, we all know what that is, a landmark out there. And now they've got the new Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. And you talk about inventory. Let's talk about brand new vehicles. Both lots full of excellent brand new vehicles, and the pre-owned vehicles are all over the place as well. And if you're trading in a vehicle, you're going to get the most money for your trade-in. That is the Londoff guarantee. It's not rebates and things like that that are hidden into the cost of the vehicle that you're buying. No, it's actual cash that you can apply to your purchase of the pre-owned or brand new vehicle. And the customer service is absolutely fantastic. Of course, the original location, Florissant, Missouri, it's always been first class. But now Jim Saffo and the crew out at the Londoff Autoplex, they're doing it right as well. They're keeping that Londoff tradition alive of great customer service. So please stop by either location. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. And if you can't get there in person, please visit them online at londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. Well, I think the key is to really get an understanding of what our lineup's going to look like, who's in center, who's in right. Ultimately, when you look back to last year, we had some offensive struggles. We had a hard time consistently putting up runs. We played in a lot of one-run games, a lot of tight games. So I think we put a lot of pressure on our pitching, on our defense, and will we have the ability to see some of these young hitters take that step forward and be that impact bat that we think they're capable of doing? And if we do, should be a fun team to watch. If we don't, then it's probably going to look a lot like last year.
There's Mo via the Cardinals radio network. Top priority in spring training is to figure out what the lineup looks like. Jordan Walker, a lock to play right field?
I thought so.
You would think so.
I thought so.
Here's Katie Wu, who was on these airwaves talking to BK and Ferrario about the Cardinals and whether or not they're in on Walker being the starting right fielder.
That would be very surprising to me because it would go against pretty much every indication and conversation we've had thus far in camp. Sure, it's only been 6 days, but, I mean, if the Cardinals walk back that, then that is an extreme switch in the message from October. And again, guys, we talked all offseason on if this reset, transition, whatever, can actually take place, if this opportunity and runway really exists. And now I think the Cardinals are circling back and asking themselves the same question, and that is very intriguing to me.
So, again, Mo was saying, yeah, we got to figure out, who's starting in center, who's starting in right. Do you think it was just kind of one of those things where he was just being casual?
So I think it was a slip up.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that,
a slip up in that
I
they
think,
need to figure it out.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals are still probably wondering where Jordan Walker fits best, as they should. Like, his bat will play if he's swinging the bat well again this year. The bat plays. Mm-hmm. His defense doesn't. Like, it's not good, Anthony. Yep. I don't know if you've watched him.
I have. Yeah,
it's not good. Mm. Now every summer he puts in work, and I know that Jordan Walker works very hard. He's a great athlete, and great athletes can usually figure things out. Now, he wasn't terrible defensively. He was like league average-ish when it comes to his defensive metrics. But it wasn't pretty at times. Like, he's running the wrong way at times. Like,
airmailing.
It's just airmailing, taking a step forward, and then the ball flies over his head. Like, just things that aren't pretty. And I think that internally they're probably like, okay, like, we still have to figure out, is Jordan Walker a right fielder? If we get rid of Arenado, can we move him to third base? If Contreras doesn't work at first, can we a first base? I think internally they're probably having those conversations. And Mo in that moment was probably thinking in his head, okay, so what are some of the areas we want to solidify? Center field, right field. And then he probably was like, oh, crap.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we're talking about it, I guarantee Mo's like, at some point he's going to have to clarify what he meant.
Yeah.
I just think it was a slip up. Do I think that the Cardinals are taking a different path, that Jordan Walker's not the guy? No, I don't. But I do think there's still question marks around Jordan Walker as a right fielder, not an everyday player.
I think that's fair because of the defense, like you were explaining. They've got several guys that are probably just DHs. Let's be real about that.
We get too many of them.
Jordan Walker right now, at this point in his career, is just a DH. He's not a big league defender. In fairness to him, there has been no dedicated outfield coach to him in the minors. So you want him to play this position. They asked him to play it at the big league level initially when he wasn't ready to play out there. And then there was, again, no dedicated one-on-one instruction in the minors for him to play outfield. So he's been learning on the fly. So in defense of the kid, he's learning an unfamiliar position. He's trying to do so at the big league level while also, by the way, trying to hit.
Yeah.
At some point, though, you got to do it. You got to figure it out. But if he doesn't have a position, I'm still waiting to see if this Wilson Contreras at first base experiment is going to work out.
Yeah.
And if not, can Alec Burleson be more than just a league average defender at first base? Remember, you've had Goldschmidt there since, 2016? You've had a Gold Glove caliber first baseman at first base since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a drop-off. This is going to be an adjustment.
What if Jordan Walker, I know this is a reset year, retool, whatever you want to call it, and I know we're trying to get the youth at bats and whatever. What if he's not good? Like, what is the threshold here? Like, how long do you give him until you figure out, hey, this guy can't play. He can't be our right fielder. Like, we have to bring in somebody else. What if he doesn't hit? Like, I don't care about the defense. Like, we know what his defense is. It's not stellar defense. It is what it is. He's got a good arm, which is great. But what if he doesn't hit? Like, what if he's the same Jordan Walker that we've seen at times throughout the past 2 years, and he's swinging at pitches in Section 305, like you've said, that doesn't exist? Like, what if he's not good at the plate?
Then you have the worst development in baseball. And what I mean by that is you have the worst scenario in baseball, which is you have a top prospect that you are excited about that hasn't come to fruition. Now, we can break it down and provide examples and provide excuses and all that. But if he doesn't hit, it doesn't mean he won't. But now you have to make the decision about whether or not you want to keep rolling. And I'm not talking about for this year. I'm talking about beyond this year.
It's tough, too, Anthony. He's only 22 years old.
Exactly.
Like, this has, and we always use it loosely, but this literally has Randy Arozarena written all over it. Like, if this kid, let's say you move on when he's 23, you're like, yeah, he's just doesn't fit here. He's not a Cardinal. And you send him to, I don't know, pick a team. I don't care. Whatever team.
Tampa.
No, not them.
Baltimore. They're like the graveyard right now for Cardinals.
And then all of a sudden this guy starts mangling baseballs and turns into a 25 to 30 home run a year guy. Like, you have to be afraid of that if you're the Cardinals, because he's only 22 and because he hasn't had position-specific coaching while developing. And like Willie McGee and they do all that stuff up here, but it's tough. With the 162-game grind, there's not a ton of time to do extra work.
Well, and why, this whole Nolan Arenado conversation revolves around, well, we need Nolan Gorman to play third base. Why can't it revolve around Jordan Walker being the third baseman? Why does it have to be Nolan Gorman?
It doesn't.
Why can't Gorman play second and then Donovan plays right field? Or, you know what I'm saying?
It's a good question. Somebody in the Snake Pit just asked the same thing. Okay, my question to you is, why haven't the Cardinals mentioned that then?
Because they've had Nolan Arenado.
But there's been some chatter about, Nolan Gorman will go to third.
Well,
why haven't we talked about Walker?
Have the Cardinals talked about Gorman at third, or has just media talked about it?
I think the media, but why is the media only talked about Gorman? Like, why not mention
Because
Walker?
I think that they feel like the right field experiment is like, that's just what the Cardinals are doing with Jordan Walker.
And you have an experiment with Gorman in the outfield. He doesn't profile as an outfielder.
My point is, if he were the next third baseman, I think we would have heard more on that.
But I
get what you're alluding to. I get it.
You see what I'm saying?
But has he ever played third base at the pro level?
Not at the pro level, no. He came. He was drafted.
Maybe that's why they're not talking about it. It's just because he's never played there. Because
why not play him at third in the minors?
Well, because they had Nolan Arenado. So what's the point? You might as well get the development going in a different position because you have a guy that's going to be a pillar.
Yeah, true.
Is what you thought, anyways.
True.
But
I've heard I've heard zero. Like, hey, Gorman Walker could eventually go back to third,
unless they're unless they're determined to make this guy an outfielder, because Gorman can't play anywhere else,
or because maybe Walker can't play anywhere else either.
Well, he was drafted as a third baseman. If the guy was terrible,
doesn't mean he can play.
That doesn't mean he was good defensively. He might have just been smashing baseballs as a third baseman, and they could have played him anywhere.
That's fair.
I'm just saying. You opened up the question.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm only complicating things by adding more questions to it.
Yeah, but that's fine.
If you invented the Facebook, why didn't you invent the Facebook? You know what I mean?
Or you just steal it from somebody.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question, Anthony. I wonder who asked that question.
He's a third baseman. Why isn't he a third baseman? Yeah. Can't only be because you got Arenado. I mean, there's been no talk of Walker going back. Just saying.
No, I mean, there's meat on the bone for what you're saying. I get it. Because when you hear other possibilities, you hear, well, maybe first base.
Maybe first. Maybe he's just a DH.
Maybe he's not good at fielding. Like,
kind of my point.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's 22, so
No, Anthony, I'm agreeing with you.
I know he's got so much athletic ability. I know that.
He does.
But it doesn't mean you can play the baseball.
If he hits the ball like he did 2 years ago, we won't really care about his defense in right field.
As long as it's not a disaster, I completely agree with you. Like if
he's not, but even the numbers bear it out. He's not a disaster.
Yeah,
he hovers around league average for an outfielder, which you might need better than that if you're the Cardinals. But if he's hitting the ball like he did 2 years ago,
forget it.
Who cares?
Yeah, well, he also could have improved in right field too. Like he has tenure there now, so that is his position essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's been working at it. So maybe he comes back this season and he's a little bit better than what we've seen in the past couple of years. And maybe this isn't an issue and it just comes down to can he hit the ball in the air and, hit with power and be the guy that everyone thought he could be.
Right. Alex, thank you. I was saying 2016. Flip the 6 to a 9. Goldie joined us in 2019. Thank you, Alex.
Sorry, your
from the
favorite
Snake Pit.
numbers.
Yeah. I just went with the wrong favorite number on that. Yep. Thank you, Alex. All right, see you fast on 101 ESPN. Sports Six Pack is coming up. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. Sports Six Pack Part 1 is next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Earlier today, Jordan Bennington stopped 23 of 26 as Team Canada defeated Finland 5-3. The Canadians will take on Team USA on Thursday in the Four Nations Face-Off Final. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Before we get to the final, USA has one more game to play. They'll take on Sweden tonight, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so if you have a question you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack here on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN, at least part 1, with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh.
Question number 1.
All right, this first one comes from the Waterboy. Jamie, what did you think about the Blues last game? I think they still might be in a shootout.
What? I was like, wait, what?
Well, yeah, you haven't been here all week, so we didn't really get a chance to talk about that final game before the Four Nations face-off.
Yeah, it's a weird game is what it was. You end up in a back and forth against the Chicago Blackhawks, and at one point you're thinking to yourself, eesh, this may not end well. But then the team did bounce back, and they end up winning the shootout. Radek Faksa, of all people, with a sick move in the shootout. Something tells me he should be bumped up in the rotation a little bit. But yeah, I thought the Blues, look, it was a game, the last game before the break, and I don't think either team played their best hockey. But the Blackhawks did get out to the lead early in the first period again, which you don't really want to have happen. But the Blues rallied back when it mattered and got the win. So we'll see, where the Blues pick up when they come back. The first game they have is against the Winnipeg Jets. So that's not going to be very easy. And I think they have the Colorado Avalanche right after that as well. So this is not going to be easy for the Blues. I don't know ultimately where they're headed as far as a strategy is concerned for the rest of the season. I don't know if the playoffs are in the picture anymore. In fact, I would lean that they're probably not. There's a lot of ground to make up, and you have some really tough games coming up here in the last part of the season. Look, what do I want them to make the playoffs? Of course I do. I mean, who doesn't? But just being realistic, I think you're going to miss the playoffs again, which is going to create an interesting situation surrounding the trade deadline if you're Doug Armstrong. What are you moving on from? We talked to JR earlier today about the Braden Shen rumors. How much would a team like Toronto or somebody like that give up for Braden Shen? Do you want to move on from him? Do you not? Do you explore other avenues? Do you think about moving on from a goaltender, maybe? I don't know, right? But you got to do something, because if you're stuck in the mud again, third year in a row where you just barely kind of sort of missed the playoffs by, let's say, between 4 and 7 points, you're not getting any better. And then do you move some people out of the way and let Dvorsky come up for a cup of coffee? He's looking pretty damn good in the American Hockey League right now.
He had a wicked, I believe it was a one-timer the other night. Tape to taper from Zach Bolduc, who fired it over, and Dvorsky puts it in the back of the net. If you're the Blues, do you want to see what that looks like? I'd see what Bolduc and Dvorsky look like playing with whoever down the middle. Let's say both teams go into a youth movement. Now the Blues are sort of, I guess, in that, but they also have a lot of veterans on their team. Which one excites you more, a Blues youth movement or a Cardinals youth movement?
Well, For me, I'll say a Blues youth movement, and the only reason I say that is because I know the prospects that they have in the pipeline. Like, I know these players. I've seen them play. I know what they bring to the table. Whereas for the Cardinals, like, unless you're really doing a deep dive a lot of times on some of these prospects, like, you don't really know what they've got, except for, like, the popular guys.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals don't seem to have as many great prospects in the pipeline, whereas the Blues had, the 9 kids playing in the World Junior Championships, things like that, where it's a little more like, okay. Plus, they got Snuggie.
Right. Do you think there's more superstar factor to the Blues rather than what the Cardinals have? Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I mean, outside of Mason Wynn, I feel like the Cardinals.
And J.J. Weatherholt, is that his name?
Yeah, and we'll find out. We'll figure out on him.
But then who else?
It's supposed to be Jordan Walker.
Okay, but I'm talking like if we're doing a deep dive. We're doing a deep dive.
It could come from the pitchers, which actually would be great.
I mean, Tink Hence.
Quinn Matthews.
Yeah.
Michael McGreevy.
I'll say the Cardinals only because I'm so tired of watching what they've been doing. Like, let's bring in these older veterans. Hey, we got free agents. You did? You signed top free agent? No, we signed free agents. You're welcome, St. Louis.
But at least they did that last year.
Oh, God. I would rather have this year. I'm dead serious about that.
I don't disagree.
Instead of, Kyle Gibson is where Sonny Gray was a really good addition. Kyle Gibson was fine. I think we all like Kyle. But if it's going to be, the majority of the time, it's Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn and Brandon Crawford and Matt Carpenter. I'm good. Rather watch the young guys.
Question number 2.
From the 636, in honor of Jamie Rivers surviving yet another getaway, what does your vacation itineraries typically look like? Is it sightseeing or seeing double?
It's never been sightseeing for me.
Same.
Because when I get on these vacations, my everyday life is so busy. It's such a rat race that I don't want to be held accountable to having to be somewhere at a certain time.
Same.
Like, Ashley and I, we usually get up and try to get a little workout in, whether it's just like to set up the day, whatever. It just makes me feel better. And then after that, you usually breakfast and like mimosas, like right away. So that starts early. And then from there, you go get the beach wear on, go to the beach, go sit by the pool, whatever, and you get the margaritas going, whatever you're into, and that's it. And then we'll usually go back, maybe a little nap, and then get to dinner after.
Yeah. Little pregame nap.
We know what you mean by nap.
Yeah. And then dinner, and then whatever. These resorts always have these, I call them cheesy little nighttime shows, but they're so cheesy, they're awesome. I love watching them. And then there's usually some like after party and whatnot.
Yeah.
This year was the first year I did something organized. And it was, Ash and I were on a catamaran and we went over to
those are fun.
Isla Mujeres, which is a cool little island, and I loved it.
Yeah.
But it was
the third Jurassic Park island.
I was about to say, yeah.
It hasn't happened yet in the movie.
Yeah.
But
the island of death.
But it was pretty. It was something we had to be there at a certain time. But then once we're on the island, you kind of did our own thing and whatnot, and then you had to be back at a certain time. So
I'm so uncultured, but man, I just don't get into like the sightseeing stuff. Don't you want to see this big canyon? No,
I'm not really into
big
that
hole in the
either.
ground. I get it. It's probably cool.
Second,
it's cool. Yeah.
Would you rather see buildings or
nothing.
or like a mountain or something?
Nothing.
I don't need to see the building
Unless it's like
don't
something.
you know
how old this building is? Great.
I don't care.
Unless it's something like super duper, like the Roman Colosseum.
The Colosseum might be different.
Well, but if you're going there to Rome, you're going to see the Colosseum.
Sure.
You're not just going to walk around the streets and avoid the Colosseum.
Right. I mean, something like that, totally.
Yeah.
But like, don't you ever
or like if you
want
go to Paris,
France?
you're going to look at the Eiffel Tower. Why? Because it's iconic.
I don't
You know
I
what I'm saying?
agree. But to me, it's like, don't you want to go see the Louvre? No.
You don't want to see the Louvre?
Don't.
The biggest thing I was excited about was taking the picture with that monkey. It was. Never mind old buildings. This monkey was running around the island. I'm like, I need that monkey in my life.
Let me see that monkey.
I had a little leash on. I was like, come here. Ashley's like, what if it bites? I'm like, I'll bite it back.
Oh, that's good. And now I have a disease.
It was sweet. I was feeding him grapes and stuff.
I have seen a
honestly
video.
was like, how can I take this home with me?
Right.
Have seen the video of the monkey rip that guy's scalp off.
I did. I know. I felt like I could take this monkey, though. He wasn't very big.
Well, you have hit a bear in the face, so.
Just a smack.
That's a Hershey bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a person in there.
Oh, I thought it was a mascot. Well,
it was.
Tell me there's a person in those?
Yeah.
In those bear costumes?
Yeah, I found out hard way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Was an actual bear. We're going to continue our Sports Six-Pack next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
All right, we continue our Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with question 3, please.
Question number 3.
This one comes from Lisa. How bad of a team defensively is this Cardinals team going to be? And have they told the pitchers they don't care about defense? Just FYI, bad defense hurts your pitching.
I think that this is one of the more underrated storylines heading into this season, and I think Lisa is absolutely correct. I think some people are like, the defense will be fine. I think the defense outside of Arenado and Wynn, and typically wherever Donovan plays, because Donovan's been really good, whether it's left field or second base, I think the defense has the opportunity to be downright atrocious. I think defense is going to be bad this year. I think we're going to be frustrated.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Why is the defense going to be bad?
You got a catcher playing first base. You've got a catcher pick your poison that can't throw out runners. You've got a right fielder who's a DH, a center fielder who may not be your best center fielder because.
What if Lars doesn't play center field?
If Lars doesn't play center field, I think Lars can play center field, but is he your best defensive center fielder? No, it'd be Siani or Victor Scott. So if he doesn't play center field, does Walker not play right? Because I think you've improved then.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where everything shakes out, but I'm just trying to figure out, in my head, I'm thinking, is it solely because Goldschmidt's not at first?
Not solely, no. Okay. I think having Walker, everyday outfielder, but he was not great.
He was almost an everyday outfielder last year.
And
your defense wasn't terrible.
It will be.
Well, you know what? Now
I'm just being honest.
I'm just
cutting to the chase.
I'm just trying to figure out how we get so bad. Because the other guys are not, Brendan Donovan's good defensively. Mason Wynn's good defensively. Arenado's going to be good defensively. Yeah. Pages and Herrera are good defensively. I don't know if they can throw a runner out. Certainly Herrera's a question there, but
I don't think Pages can either.
I don't know.
He is the better of the two.
That's kind of where we're at.
At least he can get it.
I've heard, Pedro Pages, good defensive catcher. I've also been to games where I've seen him airmail it over second base. So sometimes I question that. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to wonder now, going back to the segment when we were talking about Mo and saying who's going to play center, who's going to play right, it kind of just dawned on me. Maybe, we're not thinking about this particular thing, but we're always saying, well, now Nolan Gorman's your DH. Well, what if they just moved Brendan Donovan to right field or left field, moved Newt to right field, and then your second baseman's Gorman, and then Walker is just your DH? Then we don't have to worry about if he's playing right field.
I'd be fine about that.
I wonder if that's the conversation.
But that's a tough move for your 22-year-old to just become a DH.
But it's the same thing with Gorman, though. Mm-hmm. You're having the same conversation with him. He's a young player.
I guess at that point, you have to, as an organization, evaluate whose ceiling is higher, Gorman or Walker.
Yeah.
And then that's how you get to your answer.
I like your version better.
I wonder if that's what he's talking about.
I like it, too.
Nice.
I just don't know if they'll do that.
No, because they're Cardinals.
Who would you rather have playing where? Would you rather have Gorman at second base or Walker in right field?
Gorman at second.
Maybe that's what they're weighing right now.
Yeah. Jason says, what about Burleson? Burleson would be my first baseman. Contreras would be my catcher. I would have Contreras. I would have left Contreras catching. I would have Burleson at first, Gorman at second, Wynn, Arenado. That's my infield. And then in the outfield, I would have Donovan, Siani or Scott, whoever wins that battle, and Newton right, and Walker is my DH. That would be my team. That'd be my. I've never understood Contreras moving to first and then creating this ripple effect that doesn't make any damn sense.
Does Jordan Walker need to play the field to develop his bat?
No.
That's all I care about. If we want to talk about the two, I want to see him hit.
If you're Walker and his agent, though, you're pushing to have to be on the field every day, not just a hitter. Because he's 22 years old. And, you talk about development, and if you're the Cardinals and you're preaching, developing and all that you're doing now, and like this is where we're going,
right.
And then you don't, and you just sit a guy on the bench and let him bat, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, what are you developing? You're developing
right.
a DH is what you're doing.
And I understand that aspect of it. And if I'm the Cardinals, I turn around and say, "You ever watch Yordan Alvarez play? You good with that? Your client becomes Yordan Alvarez. We all good with that? Yeah? I'll
I'm
say
okay with
aye.
that. I am good.
Aye. All right.
Question number 3.
He's 22 and he's athletic. Okay.
Pardon me.
Question number 4.
Hit the wrong button.
You're all right. You're good.
I was just so hot and bothered about this conversation.
I believe in you.
Thank you, Anthony.
So does Jamie.
Always do.
From the 314, how much playing time does the USA top lines get knowing that they are in the final, and this is for injury's sake?
Yeah, not much. Like I think you'll see some new faces in the lineup. I think Chris Kreider will come in tonight. I don't think Matthew Tkachuk will play tonight.
Is he hurt? Because he
tweaked something, didn't play in the last 12 and a half minutes, gave the old can't go to Tortorella. So whatever it is, I don't think it's serious. Otherwise, maybe they would declare him out. I don't think he'll play tonight. I think you'll see a defenseman get rested tonight. I think you'll see another goalie go tonight.
I think Ottinger's getting the start.
There's no need. You're still, think about this. You're still an all-star team.
Right,
no matter who the hell you put in the lineup. Like, it's not like
That's
you're
a great
playing your scrubs here.
Well, and you know what's funny? We talked about this the other day. Like, maybe Jake Ottinger is the better playoff goalie in, like, those big-time games.
Yeah.
Connor Hellebuck is a fantastic regular season goalie, but... in the playoffs, he is a little bit different. Now, he's been fantastic so far for them, but you definitely want to give him a rest.
We're getting some steak bit. Victoria says, I read that both Tkachuk and McAvoy are out tonight.
There you go.
That's right. Ottinger's in goal. Yep. Jason also said, going back to Walker, he says, you've put an automatic ceiling on him. Yes, I have, and it's Yordan Alvarez. You're welcome, Jason. You're welcome. And you're welcome, too. All of St. Louis. I just turned Jordan Walker into Yordan Alvarez.
Wow. You even changed the side.
I did that in 30 seconds, boys.
You changed him to the lefty, too.
How else are you going to be Yordan Alvarez? See how I slipped there? I call him Jordan.
Jordan Alvarez.
One of the greatest basketball players, actually the greatest basketball player of all time. That's the ceiling I have for Jordan Walker, a.k.a. Jordan Alvarez.
Yordan Walker.
Anybody else got any issues that I can solve? No? You guys good?
I'm good, great, grand, wonderful, Anthony.
All right, good. That was your Sports 4-pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. You guys want to talk more Cardinals?
Do we want to, or will we?
I wasn't even going to answer. I was like,
I'll take it by your silence that you don't.
I'd rather keep talking about the monkey.
The rally monkey?
Yeah, sure.
Jamie's still feeding the monkeys grapes in Mexico. All right, did the Cardinals do a disservice by leaking the Arenado negotiations? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
he's happy to be back in Florida, happy putting on his jersey, and I think he stepped on the dirt today, so he was excited about that. Took some swings. Looks like he's in really good shape, and I think he's highly motivated to change his career arc. So we'll see how things play out, but early impressions were very positive.
All right, that was Mo on the Cardinals Radio Network talking about Nolan Arenado as he reports to spring training. 5:06 your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marshy Marsh behind the dials as always. So do the Cardinals do a disservice to themselves by leaking the Arenado negotiations or, the fact that they wanted to trade him? I would say 1,000% yes.
Yeah, I just don't understand the strategy. Like, we've talked about this before I went on vacation, the week before.
Before you went rogue.
Before I went rogue. Why did you even, at the winter warm-up, if you're John Mozeliak, why did you have to say priorities 1, 2, and 3 are trading Nolan Arenado? Why did you have to make it? It almost felt personal.
Or like a goal that he had set.
Like that it's
this is going to happen.
Yeah. It was almost spiteful. We have to get rid of this guy. It felt like we have to get rid of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
When in essence,
I almost got the sense, sorry to cut you off, Jamie, but I almost got the sense that it was going to happen. So he was saying it's priority 1, 2, and 3. It's already done.
Yeah, for me, it was almost a shot at Arenado. Because why would you could say, hey, our number one priority right now, if you're going to say it, which I would have just shut my mouth. I wouldn't have said a word.
Shut it.
Well, I was trying to be polite, and I was like, whatever.
Right.
I wouldn't have said a word. And I would have had all of this going on in the back channels. Media would find out something, and I'd just be like, look, Nolan Arenado's a St. Louis Cardinal. Just keep denying whatever. But if I was going to say it, I'd say, hey, look, one of our top priorities is talking to Nolan Arenado and finding out if he sees himself as a Cardinal through this transition/rebuild, whatever we're doing, or if he'd like to go to a more contending team. But we have to have those discussions. Here you go. Now Nolan Arenado in his camp or whatever is like, okay, they already know this because they've already been talking to Mo.
Sure.
But when you get up there and the whole world is watching and you go, priorities 1, 2, and 3 is trading Nolan Arenado.
Right.
Almost like, I got to get rid of this guy. That's what it came across.
It wasn't even a bluff.
No.
It was literally playing with your poker hand with your cards facing the table.
It just made no sense. Was he trying to tell the baseball world, hey, call me?
Which
there's other
ridiculous.
ways to do it.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I have the impression that maybe he felt as though that it was already a done deal. He was going to be able to do it, which is why he's like, priority 1, 2, and 3. Because then after he does it, it's like, well, I told you guys this is a priority. But he gave up. I don't think there was a lot of leverage as it is, but he gave up any leverage he had, Jamie. He just said, you know what, we need to get rid of this guy. Call me. And then you're the Red Sox, and you get into these negotiations, and if you're Mo, you're like, all right, how much of the salary are you taking? That'd be none. What, can you take some salary? And then you Rafael Devers that thing, and you go, no. No.
It just made no sense at all. And what it did is it set up the awkwardness. Because then, Nolan Arenado late to training camp now. It's like, okay. And then he's interviewed, and he handled it very well.
He was a pro.
But he did say one thing that I'm wondering if this continues to grow. He said, there was some truth, there were some lies. He says that to the media. There was some truth and there were some lies. If I'm the media at that point, I say, well,
what's the truth and what's the lies?
What were the lies?
Right.
And I wonder if that'll surface again. Earlier, your first day, you said there were some truths and there were some lies. What were the lies?
Yeah.
Because he'd been hanging on to that, and then he bit his tongue, and he had a very professional media conference, whatever, press conference following that. But you didn't have to set it up this way. It didn't even have to be a big deal. If nobody really found out, Nolan Arenado would have reported on time. And that's it. You don't have to worry about hugging this guy and welcoming him back to the clubhouse and, ooh, is it going to be tough now?
Yeah.
Because nobody really knew about it.
Yep.
That just was, to me, it was a misplayed sequence.
From start to finish. And the other thing, too, is that you laid out the blueprint of what you were going to do, right? So not only in negotiations, you laid out your blueprint, but you also laid out the blueprint of, all right, youth movement. Here we go. And now you kept Arenado. It's like, hey, what happened to your blueprint? Oh, these? No, these, I don't know what those are.
You kept Arenado. You kept Contreras. You kept Sonny Gray.
Yeah.
You kept Miles Michaelis.
Right.
So, like, what are you doing then?
This is the part that's the most confounding. And this is why Jeff Passan threw it out there that the Cardinals front office has confounded other organizations, other front offices. Because if you're other front offices, you're trying to figure out, okay, this is what the Cardinals have. This is who they could be getting rid of. Oh, you're not? You're hanging on to Helsley? You're hanging on to Gray? You're hanging on to these guys? Okay. All right.
Now, were there takers for any of those contracts out there? Probably not for Michaelis or Matz. And, Contreras, I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like that would be a bit of a roll of the dice. Look, nobody was paying him that money except for the Cardinals.
Right.
They got out ahead of everybody and paid him more than everyone else, even though nobody else was going to give him that money.
You stop.
Who else was in line?
Nobody.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. We had chatted a little bit about this from the NBA standpoint. So the NBA All-Star Weekend was this past weekend. Our guy Carey Davis attended some of the events on Sunday, so love to hear what his thoughts were. We'll get those tomorrow. But did the NHL outshine the NBA this weekend? There's no question about it.
I didn't even know the NBA was doing anything.
There you go. There's nothing left of the body at this point.
Oh, man.
NHL, NBA. The other question is, can the NBA even capture any of what the NHL has? That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, Missouri sports fans, got some great news for you. Underdog is available to play in our state. Underdog Fantasy has NBA basketball. They got college basketball. They got NHL, MMA, NASCAR. They got everything. They got all the major sports. They've got the college sports as well. And you can win up to 1,000 times your money just by playing Underdog Fantasy. So if you ever have a hunch on a player and whether or not he's going to go higher or lower on his points or higher or lower on rebounds, you can build up your picks. And if you cash in, again, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. You can play as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. You can turn $1 into $1,000 just because of your hoops knowledge. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. It's the app that has over 100K five-star reviews and millions of players. So if you want to join in, got a special offer for you. Download the Underdog app, sign up using the promo code Anthony. Just type in Anthony, my first name, to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's all you have to do. Join in on the fun. When you sign up with my promo code Anthony, claim that special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit to Underdog Fantasy. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh and Anthony Stalter. So Marsh and I were discussing this earlier about the NBA All-Star Game, which is a series of games now. So the NBA, Jamie, changed its format over All-Star Weekend. Had Shaq and Charles Barkley.
I didn't know what the heck
they were
was going
drafting.
on.
Anyways,
it was like another in-season NBA tournament.
It was a tournament, but for the NBA All-Star Weekend, as opposed to doing like its typical East-West game. Trying to be more competitive, which I think it was overall more competitive, but it didn't work.
As competitive as the skills competition where Wemby and that other guy just mailed it in?
Marsh.
That's what I brought up. It was terrible.
Everybody wanted to get mad at Kucherov last year, the NHL skills competition, because he didn't really try.
Right.
These guys made a mockery of it.
They totally did.
What are you doing? Anyways, go ahead.
And Marsh, you brought this up. I'll give you credit, and Jamie, since you just brought it up again. It's tone deaf. It is. It's tone deaf. You're tone deaf to your fan base. Mm-hmm. You got people that are tuned into your sport, and guys, it ain't good. Like, the product isn't great right now in the NBA. Well, SEC basketball, light years better this year than any NBA product.
So, for me, the product isn't great because the players have become too good at the shooting aspect of the game.
The 3-point, right. Yeah.
So the SEC is more exciting because you don't have the perfection. Mm-hmm. So there are score changes. There's, plays that are being made. There's
what's that thing called? They used to play it in the night. Oh, defense. Yeah,
there's defense.
Defense. Defense. That's right. Forgot what it was called. Hadn't seen it in a while in the NBA. Anyways, there's really no question that the NHL outshined the NBA this weekend. I mean, when you've got, forget the fighting aspect, the energy that has been provided from the Four Nations tournament has been nothing short of sensational.
Yeah.
Can the NBA capture this at all?
So what does it look like, right? So here's the problem for the other sports when it comes to an event like this. You do have that playoff intensity in hockey. You have, especially with the United States and Canada, and Finland and Sweden, too. Those are some good games. Imagine if you threw Russia into the mix, too. The intensity is there. Mm-hmm. There's hitting. It's like the Pro Bowl no longer plays a real game because, why would you get injured for an all-star game?
I don't blame them.
But the NFL doesn't have the luxury of, Canada, United States, Russia, all going to play this football tournament.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't exist. Basketball, you could. There are enough players from other countries where maybe you have a USA versus Team Europe. Like the NHL had to do that a couple of years ago.
They did that in Toronto back in 2000.
And they had the under-23 team, too, like the all-star team, the young guns.
That was the World Cup. Yeah, the World Cup of hockey.
They tried it. It was exciting, but it was nothing like this. I just don't think you can duplicate it.
Yeah, the NBA has talked about, at least briefly, some players, hey, would you be in for a USA versus the world?
Yeah.
Which would be a all US born team versus an all, obviously,
Canada, US,
Europe, whatever, Europe,
Asia.
Right. So they've at least floated that idea out there. Trying to capture what the NHL has done, I think you'd be stupid not to dip your toe in that water. Even if it doesn't work out, work, it's better than what we're seeing.
Here's the thing with the NHL, though. This is not going to be a yearly thing. So the NHL now, when they don't have the Olympics and they don't have the Four Nations face-off,
it's going to suck again.
They're also going to have to deal with trying to make the All-Star game fun again, and they have the 3-on-3. And I was telling you about this tweet that I saw that I thought perfectly captured this weekend. This is from Liam Blutman. He said the NHL found a way to get people who would never watch or care about hockey to watch and care about hockey during All-Star Week, a seismic W for the NHL. Then there was a comment from Clipper fan Kyle who said, I think the NBA found a way to get people to watch NHL during NBA All-Star Weekend.
Wow.
Do you think this
well played.
Shots fired.
This whole weekend was more about what the NHL did, or was it more about what the NBA didn't that brought eyes
what the
to
NHL
the NHL?
did?
No, and I just think,
question.
For me, it's more about what the other leagues can't do.
Right.
You cannot duplicate The hitting, the intensity, the athletic, like the whole, the skill, all that. And then, yes, the fights obviously turned into be a huge spectacle.
Well, that brings in the casual fan, I think. Like the casual or the people that don't watch hockey, they don't really know much about hockey. Mm-hmm. That in itself is like, oh my gosh, like this is the start of the game between these two countries. Like this is not an NHL game.
Yeah.
This is the best on best. This is the best time, I think, for the fans that don't know anything about hockey. This was the best opportunity for them to watch hockey and then all of a sudden be like, whoa, I want to see what these Tkachuk, who are these Tkachuk brother guys?
So,
I want to watch them play hockey now.
So that's exactly where I was going to go next. I don't know how many people watched that game the other night on ESPN. Whatever. Let's just say it was
4.
No.
I think it was 4.4 million, and then all of a sudden I think they peaked at a little over 5 million.
Yeah. You will start that game. Was it Thursday night?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Thursday night game between Canada and the United States will have 8 to 10 million people watching that beginning of that game. Why? Because of everything they've seen. Mm-hmm. If it's a non-hockey fan, they're like, when do these guys play next?
Right.
Who are these Tkachuk animals? Mm-hmm. Like,
who are these Tkachuk brothers?
How do you say that, honey? Like, I'm telling you, the NHL, what they've done is they've taken this tournament, which had a lot of eyeballs on it anyways. Mm-hmm. Now, the guy who's never watched a hockey game before is going to turn it on just to see, like, does this happen at the beginning of every game?
Mm-hmm.
If you can get Jackson Burkett to watch this hockey game, I think it's a win.
I think he will.
Yeah, I think so too.
And he tuned in for Game 7 of the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I might have to send him a text and maybe watch it with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good call. Just check in on him.
I mean, how could you not love what's going on right now? Like, and this is the perfect time for it, too. There's nothing going on.
If you're a sports fan and you don't love what you're seeing now with the Four Nations tournament, you're not alive. You're dead.
If you're not curious.
You're dead to you, that's for
dead
sure.
to us, that's for sure.
If you're not even curious for a moment about what the heck is going on with this sport of hockey, after you just witnessed, like, this wasn't like Toronto versus Boston.
No.
This was two countries playing each other.
That's correct.
Where there happens to be a little bit of heightened attention around both of these countries anyways.
Yeah.
Does the the intensity of what we saw in Game 1, does it change for this game, or do you think both teams, obviously Canada's probably going to want to do some things differently from an offensive standpoint?
Yeah, like score.
Yes. But like the United States, do they change anything?
What the hell would you change?
Right.
No way. In fact, if I'm the United States, I'm starting the Tkachuk boys again that night. I don't know what's going to happen, but hear me out. If you're on Team Canada and John Cooper reads the starting lineup, and then you look out across, and those two mutants are standing there staring at you. In your head, you're wondering, am I going to have to fight one of these guys, or am I not?
Do you think it starts with a fight?
So this is the one thing that Matthew Tkachuk is brilliant at, is the mind games. You go back to his playoff series, you go back to the year they beat Boston, and then they beat Toronto, or whatever the sequence was. The series in Boston, he was public enemy number one. Fighting, hitting, sticking guys, breaking guys' sticks. Like, they wanted to absolutely murder him. The next series against the Maple Leafs, they were
looking for it.
They're like, Jay, we're not going to be paying attention to Matthew Tkachuk. We're not going to, or we're ready for him. And he did nothing. And they spent the whole series worried about what the hell he was going to do, and they got beaten. So Matthew Tkachuk, he might line up first thing and not say a word and square up and, like, look at a guy and be like, not say, hey, you want to go, and then play hockey. And that guy now is like, do I drop my gloves? What am I doing? Like,
yeah. It's the mind games.
It is.
It's Anthony, awesome. You brought up earlier to me before Jamie was here, does the United States have to win Thursday to sort of change the narrative or yes, whatever it is, or is Saturday's game enough?
Nope.
You think they need to win? It doesn't matter, right?
Nope. It's like if you fight the heavyweight champion in an exhibition bout, the title's not on the line.
Right.
And the champ loses. What does it mean? It meant nothing, But then when you fight the champ for the title and you get your ass whooped, he's still the champ. And if USA doesn't beat Canada on Thursday and they lose, they'll still can't win the big game.
And I wonder if that game is, let's say it is a blowout. Canada wins, say like 4-1. I wonder.
Bite your tongue.
I'm playing hypotheticals here. I wonder if that turns off the casual American fan who, again, doesn't really pay attention to hockey. Like, I wonder if the United States have to win to really grab their attention and keep it.
I don't think so, and here's why. People love to be angry, right? They love to not like something. So if you're the casual American fan and Canada whoops your team, you can't wait for the Olympics at this point. I can't. That was bull. You know, we beat the hell out of them. They got lucky.
Should be best of 3.
Should be best of 3. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think it impacts it. I could be completely wrong. But either way, until the U.S. beats Canada in a championship game, gold medal game, whatever it is, they're still not the big dog in the yard just because of the recent success that Team Canada has had.
I agree with you. It's Fast on 101 ESPN. We have your shot to score a pair of single-session tickets for the 2025 State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Tournament. The MVC tournament is hitting the court March 6th through the 9th at Enterprise Center. All session and single session tickets for the Arch Madness tournament are now on sale. But you can text in to win free tickets to 314-399-9646 or register to win now at 101ESPN.com or the 101 ESPN mobile app. Here's your trivia question today. I had compared Jordan Walker to a certain player in Major League Baseball. I said, this is the ceiling. And then I said, you're welcome. Which player did I compare Jordan Walker to and say, hey, this is his ceiling? If you have the correct answer and you are the 101st texter to the Air Comfort Service text line, you will get those free tickets to Arch Madness, which is coming again, March 6th through the 9th. We've got Bet the Board, and Jamie is on an absolutely historic run.
I am.
Historic run. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know what your secret has been, but
get a little help. That's all.
There's been a lot of chatter that you've gotten a lot of help. Some have said that you're cheating.
How can you cheat?
I don't know.
Do I know wait a minute, do I have the sports almanac?
Yeah.
From Back to the Future?
Just for now. Just so you would Bet the Board. We got Bet the Board next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony just got back from my trip to Mexico, and I felt great. Get out on the beach, looking good, feeling good.
I saw you dancing.
Yeah,
you're a maniac out there.
Yeah, it was a good song. It's a good song. But all of that is possible because of mentality. I was a little overweight before, quite a bit overweight. Started to get back in the gym, still didn't feel right. And our guy BT sent me into Mentality to go talk to Angel and all the great people over there. And the board-certified physician sat me down, did blood work, talked to me, and I realized quickly that, the testosterone levels are not good. No bueno. Got on my program, and things have changed tremendously, and I mean, just loving it.
So we saw somebody from our snake pit say, hey, what are the guys talking about with the testosterone company? It's Mentality. And he's saying, sluggish a little bit in the gym. That's one thing you'll notice when you start working out again, how quickly that muscle memory kicks in, the energy. I remember when I first went in, I'm like, I'll go a little slow, right? I'll do half hour, and then I'll build up. I was in there for an hour 15. I'm like, man, I could still keep going. Mentality works. And it's not something that Jamie and I just, spout out about and not go. You'll see us there. You'll see us there each and every week. I go to the South County one. Jamie goes to the Chesterfield location. The same people working both. It works. It works, guys. It really does. When it comes to the energy levels, the focus, the mood, not rapid mood swings and all this, you feel calm. You feel great. Like Jamie said, you feel like you're at your best again. So go see the fantastic folks at Mentality. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you down there. If you want to do more research, great. Go online. lowtusa.com is where you can find it. Mentality.
.101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The United States takes on Sweden tonight in the Four Nations face-off. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Earlier today, Canada defeated Finland by a final score of 5-3, so they will take on the United States on Thursday for the Four Nations face-off final. Of course, you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN as well, with the pregame starting at 6, puck drop at 7. If you missed anything from today's show, including our interview with Blues insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We have Bet the Board coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Jamie is absolutely taking us behind the woodshed in Bet the Board. Not much left of our souls this month, but
what's our update?
Jamie, you're leading the pack with 9 points. Anthony has 5. I have 3 and Carey has 4.
Okay.
Well, Jamie, you're up.
What's your NBA play? Well, I guess there's no more NBA.
No,
hey, this is our chance, Anthony.
No, you had Finland over the weekend.
Oh, that's fair.
Picked Finland.
I did. All right, so I'm trying to find, let's see here. I'm looking to make a hockey play on the game tonight. Anthony, where have you been finding things like that?
Your hockey plays?
Yeah.
You go to our previous, well, you work for him, FanDuel.
Yeah.
So you want like a player prop?
Yes.
What are you looking for? Points, assists?
Point.
1 point? 2 points?
Just one.
Who do you want?
I don't know.
All right. In your range, Adam Fox -146, Brady Tkachuk 136.
Well, Brady.
Brady?
Yeah.
Brady Tkachuk 136 for just a point.
Yes.
Okay. 1 point for Brady Tkachuk, please, for my guy Jamie Rivers.
I got a text from my buddy Derek. Okay. Yeah, he says that's good. Derek Stevens from Circus Sports?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some say you've been using him for all your picks.
Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I visit Circus Sports app, the Illinois app? Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Check things out there.
It's a good call. All right, guys.
It's not illegal.
No, it's not. I'm taking a new approach. It's one that I gave a lot of thought of over the weekend. And I thought to myself, what's the play I hate? Like, what's a play I would give somebody if I didn't like them? Or if I wanted them to, like, lose. I was bitter. I was negative. I was nasty.
Yeah.
Like, what if I gave them that play, who would I give them? And I'd give them Virginia plus 14.5 against Duke. That's going to be my play. Virginia plus 14.5 against Duke. The red hot Dukies. Duke, red hot. Virginia,
Did Carey text you his pick?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to look at it. Yeah. Hold on.
Here,
I'll look through my phone.
I'll go while you look at Carey's pick. Give me Jake Ottinger under 26.5 saves.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with him not saving the puck tonight. I think it has everything to do with the United States defenseman not allowing Sweden to get that many shots.
Okay, fair.
I feel like this whole tournament, I don't know if there's been one game that I can remember where there's been more than 30 shots. Am I wrong on that, Jamie?
I'd have to check, but you're right. There has not been a lot.
At least in regulation.
Yeah.
So.
Carey's pick is Arizona plus 2. The
Okay.
Arizona Wildcats. Tell that Wildcat to keep it above 70.
I feel like you like that play.
Yeah. Yeah. That's solid. No, I do. I like that.
Well, if
play.
you didn't, Carey would probably hit it.
That's true. That's good. That's a good point. Yeah, Arizona plus 2. Yeah. Solid. Overall, they're 14-11. ATS on the year. Marsh, they're 7-3 against the number. Wow. So I could see where, over the last 10, I could see where Carey's going with this. Yeah. Baylor struggling ATS, 3-6-1 with the last 10 games. So, again, I see where CD's going here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So that's Bet the Board, where Jamie continues to dominate.
It's incredible.
The Finland one gets me.
Maybe a different odds in Mexico.
Maybe. He had more time to prep.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Mexico.
I'm thinking the monkey maybe gave him some plays.
I think so, too. Yeah.
I wanted to bring that little sucker home with me.
If he had, like, multiple grapes, and if the monkey had chose one grape, it was going to be, like,
Finland minus or plus.
What I did is I drew an F and an S on the grapes.
And
see
the
which one
monkey
he
chose
F.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Makes sense.
Yep.
What was that monkey's name?
Felix.
No, it wasn't Felix. No. I don't know. I mean, there's nobody really there to tell me, so.
Well, what did he look like to you?
I don't know. Looked like Irv.
Irv? If you wrote down 100 names, I would have chosen Irv dead last. In terms of, like, what you would go with.
Irv Smith.
Irving, but Irv for sure. I don't know why.
Anybody that's close to him calls him Irv.
He kind of looked like a little old man, right? He had a little white hair on his face. I was
Irving.
Like, Irving.
Okay.
Sounds like my grandpa's buddy's name.
All right. That makes sense. All right. When we come back, we're going to wrap the show up. We'll tell you what we learned, talk a little criticisms and compliments. Marsh hands out some 3 stars. We'll hit to that next on 101 ESPN. If you're looking for a ride, trust me on this one. It's down at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. They have got over 700 vehicles all in one lot. So we're talking about new vehicles. We're talking about used vehicles. Different makes, different models, too. They've got great new Nissans there and great sales prices we'll get to in a second. But they also have different makes and models. So if you are looking for a non-Nissan vehicle, they've got different used selection. They got a great used selection as well. But they've got their Love It First Drive sales event going on throughout the month of February. I was talking about the 700 new and used vehicles, but we're talking about heavily discounted prices on every vehicle in stock. New Nissans that are discounted up to $10,000 off. Sales prices starting under $23,000 on select models. They got 0 down and no payments for 3 months on select used vehicles, or no payments for 6 months on select new Nissans right now at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. They've got the great low financing rates of terms of up to 84 months. So if you're in a situation where you've got shaky credit, or maybe you're in a spot where you're already in a loan, other dealerships, they're going to overpromise and underdeliver. But at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum, they're confident that anybody who walks through the door can drive away in a brand new Nissan, and they'll find a way to finance a vehicle for you. Go check them out in Herculaneum. When you do, tell them Anthony Stalter sent you in. You can also check them out online as well if you want to peruse what they've got, and then head down and take your test drives. That's at autocentersnissan.com. Again, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast. Available at 101ESPN.com or your Dobbs Tire Notice Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. All the podcasts, of course, brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. All right, guys, what did we learn today? Jamie, fresh off vacation, why don't you go first, bud?
I learned that I'm a betting god.
Yeah, true.
But,
you didn't know that coming in the door.
I wasn't sure, because I didn't know how you guys, your results were going.
Yeah, true. So you thought, mate, well, I could be average.
I could be losing. Even though I'm on the heater, what if somebody hit a parlay?
Sure.
I didn't know.
Yep.
I learned today that that's not the case.
No, you are a betting god. Yeah. Yeah. How many has he hit in a row, Marsh? Because I think he hit every day in Mexico.
Let me just take a gander at the leaderboard here. And scroll down, of course. He has hit the last 5 bet the boards.
5 in a row.
He's missed 1.
Mostly NBA, too.
Went 4 in a row, missed 1, then went 5 in a row. All, except for 1, has been the NBA.
I love that basketball.
What's the one he missed?
Connor McDavid power play point.
Yeah.
That one still keeps you up at night.
Because I was toggling between Draisaitl and McDavid for a power play point. Draisaitl scored a power play goal that game, and it was not assisted by Connor McDavid.
Sorry about that, Jamie.
Yeah, hurts.
It's one that got away. All right, Marsh, what'd you learn?
I learned that Kyle Juszczyk is from Ohio, not from Australia. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. I feel like back in the day, San Francisco had a fullback that was from Australia, or they brought him in, and I just, for whatever reason, just assumed it was Kyle Juszczyk.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think didn't they bring in like an Australian rugby player or something like that?
Yes.
Definitely not Kyle Juszczyk, though.
No. I'm looking it up. Okay, this guy's a punter.
So not a fullback. Maybe a tight end?
Oh, man. This is funny. Okay. I typed in 49ers Australian player fullback. This guy named Jared Hayne pops up. But the first thing that pops up on Google is Kyle Juszczyk is a fullback for the San Francisco 49ers. He's not Australian, but other Australians have played in the NFL, including punter Mitch Wishnowsky.
Google is listening to you.
I wonder if other people think that he's Australian like I do.
I don't know.
I want to know where this came from. All right, what I learned today was that I made Jordan Walker into Yordan Alvarez, and not everybody appreciates that. Wow. Very ungrateful, in my opinion. People are like, nah, he's more than that. Like, really? Yordan Alvarez.
I think we'd be lucky if Jordan Walker turned into Yordan Alvarez.
I'm saying. People are like, no, he's a better athlete than Yordan. Okay. Is he a better baseball player?
I don't care if he can catch a football. He can catch a fly ball.
I don't care what his 40 time is.
Can he hit a baseball?
I want him to mash baseballs.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Marsh, what do you got for criticisms and compliments?
We got a few criticisms here. Grant France's fan club needed more Blues talk. Been craving it since Jamie was out last week.
There is no Blues talk.
They're not really playing right now.
Understandably so.
Come on, Grant Francis.
Fan club?
Fan club? I think this next criticism, though, is
spot on.
Fair. From the 386, criticism, not enough Speedo talk after a vacation on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Did you break out the Lion Speedo?
Yeah,
No,
happened?
I broke out a different one. You guys not see the pics?
I saw the pics, but for those that didn't.
So I got, I had the Mexican flag.
Okay.
With, what do you call those skulls that they have? The Mexican skulls. They have a name for them.
Skulls.
Oh, I don't know.
You know the fancy skulls where they got like the little flowers around the eyes?
Yes, I
and
do.
things like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
One skull, like right in the middle.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, good.
That made an appearance. It was great. Yep.
Never mind.
Ashley loved it. Wearing a Speedo, honestly, around the pool, I might as well be carrying a puppy dog around with me. People want to come over.
Just to say hello.
Yeah. Not necessarily pet it, but they want to talk.
Interesting.
Say hi.
Okay. Yeah. Sean Jones, Sugar Skulls.
That's what they are. They're sugar skulls. I think that's what they're called.
Oh, I thought he was saying your old nickname.
No. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, for real.
Oh, man.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day. Our third star of the day goes out to Jordan Walker.
Thank you.
Yes.
By the way, Jason in the snake pit, he's not having it. It's like that, like Happy Gilmore isn't a golfer in that documentary. He's not happy.
James going to buy Speedo for the monkey.
Yeah,
I would have.
Matching Speedos. Go ahead.
Awesome.
Second star of the day goes to Australia, being the new Ohio.
Yep.
And Jamie just mentioned him. First star of the day goes to Irv the monkey. Irv the monkey.
His friends can call him Irv.
Oh, man.
His full name's Irving.
That's right.
Why'd you call the monkey Irv? It looks old.
Looks like an old man. I feel like Irv's an old man. Man.
That's
no offense
incredible.
to Irv out there.
The game does not matter from a championship standpoint because the USA will play Canada in the Four Nations Championship. But we do have Sweden versus United States right now. Pre-game starting less than 5. For Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.